You know who loves flowers? Everyone. You know who doesn't like flowers? My old landlord. Today's sponsor, Pro Flowers, sent some to my old address. My former landlord got so pissed off. I don't know why. Pro Flowers are beautiful, they smell great, and are guaranteed to stay fresh for at least 7 days or your money back. But that didn't stop my landlord from calling me all pissy about me still getting packages at the old crib that I never am ever coming back to get. I told him it was a mistake. He could keep the beautiful flowers. I love them. I've always been happy with every arrangement I've gotten, but he wouldn't listen. So, don't be like my landlord. Get 20% off any of the unique summer rose bouquets or any other bouquet of $29 or more by going to proflowers.com and using my code Greggy at the checkout. That's proflowers.com and the code Greggy. Don't wait to make someone's day. And my former landlord, you can go to hell, you free flower hating monster. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the GameOverGreggy show. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the producer/seducer, Nick Scarpino.
What's the weirdest thing you ate when you were a kid? Do you think you ate like glue a lot?
Not a lot. I'm sure I did at some point. Not a lot.
I ate the stuff in my mother's womb. That I was in intensive care. I guess that counts.
I don't think it counts.
No.
You ate your own placenta?
You ate out of your,
I
you ate your
inhaled
way out?
it and they had to pump it all out. I was in intensive care.
Oh my god!
So I ate my mother's womb.
Lord.
That
I think that wins.
Some would say you.
Great answer. Good answer, guys. Good answer.
So you ate your mom out.
I did.
Jesus,
No.
damn!
This young man.
Birthday.
Happy birthday.
What'd you do for your last birthday?
We just went to like a Denny's.
Oh, nice. All right, cool.
I peaked.
Exactly,
Same
exactly.
thing, really.
Ladies and gentlemen, returning to the show, Rahul Kohli.
Yeah!
Yay! Now let's just, that pure went to Gettys.
Yes.
He's sunburned, we'll get to that later.
Yes,
Let's get it out. Let's just air the grievances. Fuck Funhouse. Fuck them as hard as they can be fucked.
But I don't
We
know.
love them.
I thought
We
that
love
was
them. We
good.
think you're all great
They're
people.
trying to come up and do
We think
content
you're all
with us.
great people. Of course they're going to come up. We love them a lot. But you are all down there buddy with them. You were ours first. And here it is. Yeah, you're taking photos where you got kind of funny. Or you got,
I'm wearing your shirt.
No, I know. It's called trying to make up for it. We saw you in a Funhouse blanket. Never again. Here's the kind of funny
You
blanket.
throw that funhouse blanket out. You throw it out.
Actually,
This
here's what
isn't
you
a
do.
war.
Get fucking bed bugs in it and send it back to them.
Like polio.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like pox, like
Yeah.
smallpox or whatever.
Smallpox,
That was it.
The Trojan horse.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
That's great.
Hey, welcome
Or
back.
herpes. If you could send just a herpes-laden blanket.
I mean, if you
over to
guys,
Adam
if
Corbett.
you guys,
Specifically
if you
to
guys
Bruce.
moved to LA and hung out with Hollywood types and stuff, then
See, we stay up here though. We get this is the cool ones. We don't want the Hollywood types, right? We don't want your like kids with their sunglasses.
We don't want Johnny Depp coming on our
Yeah, fuck
podcast and
Johnny
being
Depp.
like, "Oh,
Funhouse got
guys."
Johnny Depp recently.
Did they really?
Yeah, you were on that.
That's
episode.
even
I was,
cooler.
yeah. I hated
That's
him.
even cooler.
You watched it.
Oh, I did watch-
Talking Stockings.
That was really good.
That's a real thing that happened. Or is it some
Watch the
impression
episode
you
and
did?
find out.
No, I'm not gonna do that. Don't fucking clip BuzzFeed.
Yeah, you can
clickbait
find
me.
it. You can find it on YouTube.
Shut up! Shut up about where you can find it. God damn it! You became a shill for them so fast. It breaks my heart.
I will never forget my roots, though. This is the first
Damn
podcast, first community that embraced me.
Were
I
we
saw
the
all
first
comments.
podcast you'd ever done? Lie to me and say yes.
Yes, I was.
Fantastic. There you go. We popped your cherry.
No, well, there was an iZombie podcast.
Oh, that counts. That kind of counts.
I don't know. Does it?
Why wouldn't it count?
Yeah, it's a
It's
podcast. It counts.
podcast. Yeah.
It counts.
Yeah.
It's great.
It definitely counts.
I wanted to go on Beyond.
Yeah.
That's how we first met, because
Yep.
you were at IGN. And
I
was
remember
like,
at Comic-Con, you
Yeah, I
came
tried
up
to
to me.
worm my way in.
It almost worked.
It nearly did, and then you quit.
Well, no, it was that you ran up to me during Comic-Con when it was in between set changes.
Yeah.
Where I was coming off the main stage and you had been on the balcony and you ran by and you were just like, oh, by the way, I'm a huge fan of Rahul. I'm in the show. I don't know if it's going to get picked up. It's called iZombie. All right, I got to go by. I'm like, all right, whatever. Never see this guy
Here we
again.
are.
And then there you were in my
4
house.
seasons later.
And you're
Yeah,
home.
petting Porty.
Yep.
Yep. And now there's no Porty here to pet. But you've done a lot of other stuff with us.
But he's all right.
Oh, he's fine. Yeah, no, he's at home.
Cool,
Yeah.
Well, he's been acting really weird. And Jen's
no.
like, oh man, like he put himself to bed yesterday, which he doesn't do often.
God.
He just walked out of the room and I was like, Porty, and like, Porty, come back. And he did that thing where he stopped, his ass hanging out of the bedroom, and he's like, nah, he just kept going.
He's over it.
You thought about it for a
He's
second.
getting old though, man. Like I was up.
So like it's the thing of it that was alarming to me because Let's dial it all back. All right, let's
Oh,
just go.
Lord.
Let's
Now you guys
go
have to
back.
cry.
All right.
Don't cry.
No, I'm not gonna cry at all. No, well, when he's dead, yes, but not right now.
I'll
Because
cry
now
when
it's
he's
just like
dead.
what's going
Now,
on.
yeah, it's hypotheticals.
We, we threw the housewarming. Everything was great. Blah blah blah. Blah. Everybody's having fun. A lot of action. He had a seizure afterwards the next day. Of course, he knew he would because he's porty. Too much overstimulation. Blah blah
I
blah.
like to like check in with him, see how.
But then it was a couple nights ago, and sadly, I spoiled where I'm going with this story by telling you. But a couple nights ago, maybe a week ago now, we were in bed, Jen and I, and we're getting ready, and she's like,
Oh, yeah.
it smells like exactly.
yeah,
She's
yeah.
like, it smells like
Oh, yeah.
when you pee after drinking too much coffee. And the windows were open, and I'm like, I smell it too faintly. Like it's got to be a plant outside had died. Like these gardeners had tore up everything, and so we have this like giant creeping plant that was like really cute and ivy, and now it's like dead. And I'm like,
Chad's
maybe it's
revenge.
that. Maybe it's that. Chad's revenge. Maybe that's it. It smells. I'm like, we'll check it out in the morning. Whatever. Went to bed. Woke up. She investigated more. No, Porty had peed on the bed at some point, and like I slept on it. And I was just like, whatever. But it wasn't wet. Like it had happened. It was like
It's an aphrodisiac.
exactly, yeah, the
Dog
coffee
piss.
pee.
Yeah,
But the thing about it is like that doesn't smell. Coffee pee's not what his pee usually smells like. It was dry by the time I got to it, so it had happened weirdly. And he doesn't pee for no reason often.
Yeah.
Ever. You know what I mean? Like
When last time he was here, he peed in the kitchen.
right, but that's like a new place. You're getting your feels. That's
Yeah,
fine.
there's pizza everywhere.
Exactly, pizza's everywhere. People are going crazy. I get that. And then it was another one recently where we were on the couch talking, and he was at our feet doing something. Blah blah. And I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna get a cup of water. And literally, it had been like I hadn't been down that long on the couch. I put something aside, and I looked down, and there was a little puddle of pee, and I'm like, how did you stealth pee where none of like it's a hardwood floor? How did you
Yeah.
pee right there? We didn't hear. I was like, that's weird. And so he's acting funny. He had another seizure. The seizures are coming a little bit quicker than they should be. And so last night when he went and put himself to bed, and Jen went in there, she's like, he's shaking, but he's not having a seizure. He's like, he's scared. And she's like, I think it's an earthquake. I'm like, I think he's gonna die. I think these are the telltale signs this dog's on his way out.
What's crazy to me is the first thing I thought is he saw a ghost. Because
Yeah.
I still think dogs can see ghosts.
Sure, no,
But
yeah,
I
no.
have no scientific data
Sure.
like that.
Well, Porty can't see down the hallway.
That's
so
fair enough.
I don't know.
No, I was up in Tahoe, and my sister-in-law has a Boston Terrier named Dozer. He actually has two now. One Winston. They've done the thing where like Dozer's getting really old, so they've brought in Winston to sort of like help him keep moving around, but also realistically, it's like he's not going to be here forever. But it's sad to see him. Not sad, but. Weird to see him like through the years. I see him every 6 months, and he literally ages before
Oh,
your
sure.
eyes. Like I
Yeah,
get
yeah.
there, and now he's really big and he's slow. And like the other morning, I was taking care of him because they were all out, and he kind of woke me up, and I went and took him out, and then he came back in and looked at me, and he was like, "Are we both going back to bed?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Cool," and he just like pieced out like right there. He's on the ground, just like laid down, and I'm like, "Oh man, you used to be the dog that would like." Not leave me alone, and I always want to be on my lap, and I always want to be pulling something, and now he's just like, leave me the fuck alone, feed me twice a day, and just don't touch me.
Yeah.
And it's really sad.
Like 2 weeks ago, I was out with Gia, and we were eating in the Sunset, and we were like right by your house.
Oh, thanks for the saying.
You
hey.
guys were gone. I
cool.
forgot.
No, that's fine.
You
That's
in
fine.
Missouri.
You're
or
probably
wherever
getting
the hell
ready to
you
have
were.
sex.
And so we were there, and we're talking about whatever the fuck's going on. We're like, oh yeah, Greg's place is around here. And she's like, oh my God, the coyotes. I'm like, what are you fucking talking about? She's like, have you not heard about the coyotes? I'm like, no. And then she's like, look it up. Just go on Google right now and type in coyote. I'm like, all right. First thing that pops up. Coyote snatches dog from San Francisco porch. And I'm like, oh no. Supposedly, coyotes taking over San Francisco. There's a whole bunch of them chilling in Golden Gate Park. And before there was a couple, now recorded hundreds of coyotes in Golden Gate Park. Wow. That's some scary shit. They're running around snatching these damn dogs. And I'm like, oh no. And she's like, yeah, can you imagine if it was Porty? I was like, oh my God, that would be horrible. And I was like, but wait. He's going to die eventually.
Sure.
So I feel like at the end of the day, like there's this fucking dog, Bella, the slain dog. That's her caption right there. She's getting all this press.
Oh,
Right?
I see. Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
if Porty's going to go out, I want him to be the face of the coyote massacre of 2017.
What a bitch.
Yeah.
Rahul, everybody.
But see what Gia then was like, and this would take us a step further because the Kind of Funny Best Friends would put an end to coyotes.
Sure.
Can you imagine the different charities that you would donate to make sure that every coyote on the fucking planet was destroyed?
Sure.
For destroying Portillo?
Of course.
Got to make that shit happen.
We just
Fuck
go out
these
there and hunt
coyotes.
together.
You buy wings and you change it into a coyote, and you just eat coyotes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's gonna be that day, everyone.
If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Game Over Greggy show each and every week. 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on this table. Each bring a random topic of discussion for your amusement. If you like that, you okay? Don't hurt yourself.
Quite excited.
That's okay. I understand. Head over to patreon.com/kindafunny where you can get each and every episode early by tossing us a couple bucks. How early? You can watch it live as we record it like so many people are right now through their private YouTube link. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your $1.
TPC 14, by the way, says he might have an infection. That's why Porty might be acting weird.
I'm keeping an eye on it.
Okay.
You know, I'm around this dog a lot.
Yeah, I know.
I'm monitoring the situation because then he just goes back to being normal. I'm keeping up. Maybe he's just
Right.
maybe he's just sad. You know what I mean?
Attention. Cry for attention.
Have you
Jen's
tried
there.
a vet? No.
I don't believe
just-
it. I mean, it's one of those like.
Fair enough.
You think you're gonna tell me this veterinarian knows more than me about this dog I've been around for 12 years?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
This vet. If you want to give us no money, no big deal. You can wait and go to youtube.com/kindafunny where we break it up topic by topic, day by day, until it posts one big video and MP3 the following Friday. Rahul,
Hey.
bring me up to speed on your life. All right.
Oh,
You just got the 4th season of iZombie.
we did.
Yay.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you very
awesome.
much. Thank you.
What is it like being a CW superstar?
I mean, it's exhausting. Like we've lost our privacy.
Yeah, of course.
I
yeah.
can't go to a CVS.
On the scale of like you and Madonna,
Yeah.
which one of you has a harder time walking down the
Right
street?
now, me.
Yeah.
He's relevant.
Over the years, her.
Yeah.
But I'm hot right
Yeah,
now.
this isn't like when she put up her Austin Powers music video and everybody was like, "Oh, Madonna!" Like
Yeah.
this is your Austin Powers music video.
Exactly. That's exactly
Yeah,
what it is. I mean,
exactly,
Yasmin. I mean, geez, I don't even know. I didn't want to talk about this on a podcast, but we were at CDC, and for the first time ever, one lone paparazzi followed us for a second and just asked me questions. And in that kerfuffle that overwhelmed Yasmin, she lost her spectacles. The one and only Pap. That's how famous we are.
I want to get to that.
She was already shaken by it.
I want to hear that entire story. But did you say you were at the CDC?
Did I say CDC?
We were at the Center for Disease Control, and the paparazzi got us.
Took me a second there too, but at first I was like, oh, they were just filming something at the CDC, like it's iZombie. It makes sense,
Yeah,
right?
because my character's from the CDC and it's stuck in my. Sorry,
I was like, that makes sense.
SDCC.
Comic-Con. You were at Comic-Con. Okay.
Comic-Con. And yeah, honestly, no, nothing's happened. It's awesome.
Well, wait. What about the paparazzi? Where you were doing what?
I know. We were just walking somewhere. I think to a restaurant. And
Gotcha.
Some guy just grabbed us on video and was asking me questions like, "Hey, how
Is
you
it
find
TMZ?
No, I don't know what it
Star?
was. I
Zombie
I
star.
don't think anyone cares. I think it was just a dude with a camera.
Not from a credible media outlet.
No, I mean, I was joking because Yazzie got obviously it was the most non-aggressive, easygoing one time in my entire life a paparazzi, and she happened to get her glasses lost. It was
How
a
did
bit-
you
she was
lose
doing-
one? How did that
I
happen?
feel like
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
missing a part of this story.
Was it like a lot of this, and you knocked him off? And you're like, just let us have our privacy. I'm trying to go to Joe's Crab Shack.
Yeah.
He was just trying to take a selfie.
but yeah,
no photos, no photos.
It's been great, man. I mean, the show's building a nice slow and steady pace.
Yeah.
I managed to do some other work at the same time, which
You're
has
on
been great.
Supergirl.
I did an episode of
Your
Supergirl.
big break.
Yeah, finally on a big show.
Yeah, you know
the
what I
real
mean?
deal. But no, that was good fun, and I did a movie. So it's been.
What's the movie?
It's a Netflix film.
Okay. Pimp it.
it's-
Come on. Get people
It's
to watch
a
it.
comedy with Ben Schwartz,
Okay.
who's in Parks and Rec and stuff.
Is it out yet?
No, I think it's out in the fall.
Okay. That's
But
cool.
That dude's
yeah, got
funny
to do
as
that.
hell.
He's good, man. He's improv master. Yeah, but yeah, nothing major. I can still. Everything's cool.
I love that. So every day we do the Kind of Funny morning show, and we talk about the nerdy news you need to know about and all that. My favorite website to go to get the news, IO9. They do a great
Oh, yeah,
job
yeah,
where
yeah.
every day
IO9,
they
yeah.
do this thing, that spoiler recap or morning spoilers. That's what it's called, morning spoilers. Well, they go through all the most important things that happened, and it's fucking great because I just take what they do and say it again. But there'll be Star Wars, Marvel, all that stuff. iZombie getting shout outs left and right. Your picture, you're all over that thing.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's been. I mean, we're not a big show. We're not Game of Thrones, and we're not even The Flash. But over the last 4 years, we've seen a real kind of steady increase, and I think people, once they get over the stupid title, and it is silly, I know it is, because it looks like an app. I think once, and also I think we came along at a time when people were done with zombies, right? I mean, we were in the height of Walking Dead and World War Z and all this stuff, and then we came out like, another zombie show.
Yeah.
I think once people got over that and then just watched it and found out actually it's like a really well written, fun thing. Once we it's kind of people have given it a chance, and I think also to be honest, you guys and Funhouse, lots of people, they.
It's the inclusion of the word especially after Funhouse that we find.
Did I say? I said especially, and then kind of funny and Funhouse, but also just the gaming community, and people have embraced that too, I guess, from me being on stuff, which is unintentional. I've never been here to promote anything. I'm a big fan of you guys. I'm a big fan of what you guys do. So, and we've seen that support spike too, and that's been awesome.
Do they treat you differently? Like, does the show notice that and see that, and they're like, "Oh fuck, he's important"?
I don't think they have any idea that I go on this stuff.
They're up in Canada. They don't get the internet.
They don't know anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They're still on. They got dial-up.
So
if your mum picks up the phone in the same house, it ruins your connection.
Gotcha.
Right in the middle.
They're so far behind. Like, man, wonder if Colin will ever grow a beard. That's where they're at right now in the episodes. I think I has the show far exceeded your expectations? Did you expect it to go on this long?
No. I think, and I don't think this will ever change. So when we did the pilot, we were nervous, and we were, the buzz around us was, do you think this will go a season? This should go a season. It's not a bad pilot. We've been in that mode every stage of the way. So when we got to the end of season 1, we're like, do you think we're going to get a season 2? I mean, we did all right, and it's just been like that the whole way. Even right now, we're never safe. So we'll be doing the same conversation at the end of 4, and yeah, we've never expected. We knew what we were doing was good. We know as actors, when you pick up the script and you see the lines and you see the dialogue, we knew it was good quality, but does anyone care? And that's what's always surprised us, is that, oh shit, people do care. Now, I don't know. Now it doesn't seem ridiculous to think about maybe putting aside another few years on this job.
Sure.
I was always thinking that, it's you're unemployed almost for 6 months of the year once it's done. But I don't know. Maybe there is legs. I don't know.
So here's my next question. Because I don't think we touched on this when you were here before.
Okay.
Are you one of these actor types who doesn't want to do something for a long time? Because when Michael Rosenbaum was like,
Sure.
I'm done being Lex. I'm like, Michael, don't do this to me. And then he left the show, and ooh, Michael.
I think I don't think there's a general rule for any actor. I had a lot of ideas before I kind of did a show about how I'd feel about art and my time and what I put out. And so, like, in my eyes, it was like, to be on, say, a Law and Order or a CSI for 10 years. Like, how would I feel about that? Like, just doing a procedural. But then at the same time, I really enjoyed the job, just whatever it is, just the job. And I really like not being unemployed and being able to buy things.
Yeah, of course, that's nice.
That's fun.
I really want a home. I really want to be able to support my family, and I want to. Those have started to take far more priority over art. I still take pride in what I do, and I still hope that I'm lucky enough to. I mean, the balance. What you really want is financial security while also making good content. Sometimes there's an imbalance. Sometimes you can only have one or the other. At this point in my life, I'd choose financial security just because I've seen now so many and heard so many horror stories of people who were hot for a minute and then it's gone and it never comes back. And then there are other people who will do a Law and Order, smash out 10 years, put it aside, put their kids through college.
What up, Chris Maloney?
There's a act on The Flash, Jesse Martin.
Yeah.
Jesse Martin was on that for years.
But he was
And now
awesome
Jesse
on that
Martin is, I assume, I don't know the ins and outs of his finance, but when you're on a show and a procedure and you're doing that many episodes and that much volume, now I would assume you're free to make creative decisions that aren't necessarily monetary based. So that's what I would like. And I'm still young. I mean, even if we did 7 years, I'd finish at 34. And for a male
Why
actor,
did you look at me when he said that?
Because we're the old men now, so I like to know what you feel when you hear something like that.
A little part of me was like, oh, so much of my life already gone by, and this is all I've got to show for it. But no, I mean, I feel great otherwise. I feel great.
But the longevity for a male actor is it's quite long. So like, I'm cool.
What I like about you, I like a lot of things about you.
Thanks.
What I like about you and your career is the fact that you aren't afraid to throw out any project you hear on Twitter. You're like, I'd be perfect for that. I've seen you do it for James Bond.
Yeah.
Recently, when they were like, we can't cast the Aladdin movie. You're like, hey, motherfuckers.
Yeah, that got me in a lot of shit. Actually, that last one did unexpectedly because apparently brown isn't interchangeable. Well, it shouldn't be. So me saying I wanted to play a Middle Eastern character was taking jobs away from Middle Eastern actors, which I understand. But fuck off.
I mean, I feel like you have to deal with a lot. How hard is it to deal with the people on Twitter that follow you for now your more gaming side stuff, but then they follow you for iZombie, but then when you're tweeting whatever fun tweets you want to tweet,
Yeah.
you have to deal with a lot of bullshit?
No, not at all. I think I make if anyone who follows me on social media, I think I've made it look a little bit more like a conflict zone than it is. I just love a good scrap, and I'm very easy to bait out sometimes, and I've shaken that now, but it's usually a lot of love, and I know a lot of people follow me and won't watch my show. Cool, but they like me for being on this stuff and
Sure.
you know doing that, and vice versa. There are some people who have no interest in gaming, and then there are some people who have found the other through that, which is awesome. Those are my favorite, which is like saw you on the GameOverGreggy podcast, started watching the show. Now I like that. And
That's what Nick did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that cross.
Well, that's the thing too. Is like when you talk about longevity, like it's not like it used to be, right? Where you get typecast as sort of like a quote unquote TV actor anymore, right? People are jumping back and forth. They're doing lots of cool projects, and I think the playing field is a lot more open than it used to be for everyone. So like we were talking a little bit at lunch, and I thought it was fascinating is that you just have this. There are certain people that I think are suited more toward excelling in sort of in certain platforms, and I think you're really well suited for being really fun to watch on social media and also on these shows and also in people's content and all that stuff. I think it just lends itself well to the sort of cycle that you can get caught up on in like of growth, right? And we were talking like when you came on GameOverGreggy, you didn't have. I think you only had like 60,000 Twitter followers, right? And then I remember picking up the phone and checking as one does. I was like, holy crap, he's at like 100 and some odd now. That was like a year ago or 2 years ago. Now, granted, a lot of that's probably because the popularity of iZombie has grown as well. But I also think that it's just because you're naturally predisposed to just have fun and want to go do these fun projects, and you can do that now. Like imagine in the 80s if someone was like, hey, I'm going to go on this person's like unsanctioned radio show that gets distributed on the internet. Yeah. You're like, fuck no, you're not doing that.
Well,
the
landscape has changed, and there's never been like a game plan or a strategy.
Yeah.
I never was like, yeah, now I know exactly where to go. I know what channel has YouTube hits. I know that this can grow this. There's been no conversation. I'm like a kid in a candy store that has a blue tick and can pop up on someone's notifications, and I can basically do the things I wanted to do. Like I wanted to be on this podcast.
Tim and I literally, I think, both jumped to you were a kid in the candy store and had a blue tick that you were like letting bite people. I was like, what is this? Why?
Where are we going with this?
As in the profile that the show got me. It's obviously such a small profile, but it was enough that I was able to go. I wanted to meet you, right? So
Dream big.
why wouldn't I use my whatever I have to make that happen?
Leverage it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
of course.
And like, so it's not there. I was never there to promote me or that. I was there to just fulfill my own kind of wishes.
Do what you want to do, yeah.
But see, I think that works really well for your career overall, though, because like basically you're leading with your passion, which is very, very good, right? You're not, like you said, you're like no human being would rationally put themselves in the in the Funhouse group unless they really liked those guys, because they're crazy, right? Like,
yeah,
and you love the content, you liked them, you sort it out, and you liked our stuff too, which is great. But I think that's like you got to be crazy if you don't think that's going to help you in the long run, right? Eventually, that's like there's so much synergy, and I hate that fucking word, but there's so much synergetic energy happening with all this stuff where people look at you and go, maybe there's some guy out there that's going to cast you for a movie that doesn't necessarily like see your work there, but he sees you somewhere else, and it's like, that's great, you know. So ultimately, all that creativity plays into itself, and it plays into the bigger spectacle that is Rahul.
There's been, I mean, I can't really go into too much about it, but there's been talk and discussion of a few video games for me.
Awesome,
Nice.
And I'm pretty sure that they didn't stem from iZombie.
Interesting.
I think that backed it up, but I think I was on the radar because of this, because of the community.
That is awesome. We got to make that happen.
I'd love to, and I hope. I mean, it's looking good. We'll see what happens, but there's a few options out there.
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who.
Yeah. Yeah, why not?
Well, that they've already made the casting decision.
Well, sure, but I know you missed out on that role. Again, you threw it out there, but if they made a video game version of the Doctor, that could be you, huh?
I'll do the mocap. I'll go Andy Serkis on it.
But
the kind of fan casting thing was weird because I, as a kid, I never saw. Sounds like so pathetic to say this, but I never saw color, right? So I always I've wanted to be an actor and I've always wanted to perform. And when I watched Batman, I wanted to be Bruce Wayne, and I was never told I couldn't. You know, my parents never shut that dream down. Same went with James Bond. I've been a James Bond. That was me and my dad. We would go to the cinema for every Bond release, and I wanted to be James Bond. And that naivety and passion never kind of extinguished. And then once people started watching my work, and then they would hit me up on Twitter and go, "Dude, you'd be great as Bruce Banner," or "Dude, you'd be great as Bond," or whatever the fuck. Like, it spoke to that, and it really kind of enthused me that people also saw that could work. And as much as I do, it's not going to happen. I know that it's not going to happen.
How close do you think we are to something like that happening?
Depends on the project.
Yeah.
Something like Doctor Who. Doctor Who was interesting because, and I was considered, I wouldn't say I was considered, there was no call to my team, but on multiple articles and stuff.
Hell yeah.
I know, that was the most pimp thing I've ever said.
That was
I just got
My team of yes.
Who's wrapped in one of our blankets currently.
It's so hot in here. Why is she in the blanket?
But she's repping the kind of funny. But when that happened, like, that was in the world of possible, and I saw a few articles where I was fan casted by journalists and stuff, and I was like, fuck yeah, that's what I want. I felt like that was Bond. No, that popped up on an NBC article. Rahul Kohli was one of the picks. No, it's not. It's never going to happen.
But someone says.
But the fact that one person said it just stroked my ego enough, and it spoke to that.
I feel like
kid who was reenacting Karate Kid scenes.
I feel
and
like
Batman
the producers
scenes.
of Bond, though, I think they're on the hinge of that, though. I really do. Like, I know that they're all in with Daniel Craig right now, but it'll be fascinating to see what direction they go with that role after Daniel Craig bows out, because he's only got probably one left in him.
Well, everyone
before he
wants
doesn't wanna do
Idris.
anymore.
I mean, that's the thing. If it's not Idris,
But is
people are going to
Idris,
riot.
and I hate to say this,
take
but is
a few-
Idris too old now for it?
Well, that's the thing, because Idris.
'Cause you want someone that's gonna be
Daniel
with
Craig
them
was
for
in
like
his
5
30s
movies.
when he took that.
Yeah.
He's not an old man. And Pierce Brosnan was young too. I mean, it's a role that they do try and cast in their 30s.
Because they want you to do 5-6 movies, right?
Yeah,
The hope is that they keep you and they make a franchise out of it for you.
I think that with that particular one, and people might think this is controversial, but I don't think that the world is ready for an ethnic Bond. I think the world was ready for an Idris Bond. One person can play it who happened to be a person of color.
Interesting.
I don't think it's like we're all in. We're ready.
I think that franchise is, and I don't want to be like a downer on this, but I think it's a little stagnant, and I think that's probably exactly what it could use is a kick in the ass like that.
Well, did you see today, and I'm going to butcher her name, Enchantress from Suicide Squad?
Sure.
Cara
Delevingne.
Delevingne?
I've seen a bunch of headlines of, I guess in some interview she threw out that she'd love to be Bond or something, which is stupid because that's like me. I'd love to be, we all want to be Bond, you know what I mean? Like whatever.
Well, to be fair, I think she's a little closer than you would be. I love you though. You're sexy. I would totally vote for you. You would. You look great in a suit.
my vote's
2
with
video
her.
games and I am in an animated series, sir.
That's fair. That is very true. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, we're all fascinated. Don't get me wrong. I love Daniel Craig. I love him in the role, and I'm a traditionalist
Absolutely.
too. I'm fine with the way that the series is going, but they need to change something. And I feel like that's an awesome opportunity for them to be very progressive and forward thinking with the role,
Sure.
specifically because they've caught a shit. I mean, just from a public standpoint, like a PR standpoint, they caught a lot of shit for the last one and some of the stuff that he did in it.
Yeah.
And a lot of the old tropes
do?
of Bond, just the womanizing and the sort of way he treats women and just the way the overall kind of old school outlook that Bond has in the world. It's like, does that have a place anymore?
Well, he
in this world?
was always written, I guess, as or portrayed as a male fantasy, right? I mean,
Yeah,
is in the sense that he was doing the things that everyone wanted to do.
Well,
Bang a lot of chicks,
yeah.
bet
Drive a
crazy
cool
money,
car.
drive a
But
cool
in
car,
the
kill
book,
people.
in the book, the reason they not the source material there, but in the reason that Ian Fleming gave for that was because he was always sort of a depressed human being who thought he was going to die at any given point, and so that's one of the reasons why I really liked like what they did with Casino Royale, because that really came through. It's like this guy, like they punched it through. Like the 007 don't live very long, so the second you get to that designation, it's like your life expectancy is nothing.
Sure.
And like imagine what your psyche would be if you were playing that character of like you might die at any given time. So yeah, that's why he makes a game out of liking good wine and fancy food and all these clothes, because he's probably gonna fucking die tomorrow.
But here's where
it lost its way somewhere.
But here's where it's slightly, and I get that when you watch a Bond film to a certain degree, a lot of the views and a lot of what it does is quite archaic and by modern day standards. But at the same time, it's a fucking spy film.
yeah.
And somewhere along the way, he's now become a prime minister of the UK. He's become our voice, our figurehead. Like I saw a lot of people backlash. This is fucking ridiculous. Daniel Craig is a massive supporter of the football club I support, Liverpool Football Club.
The
so
right
Daniel
one, right?
Craig, the right one,
There you go.
exactly. Daniel Craig attends a lot of the matches, and a lot of fans backlashed that he shouldn't be attending. He's playing Bond. He shouldn't be picking a team. It's like he's not okay.
He's a fucking
This is a
human being.
fictional
people.
character.
Yeah.
This is a spy from a spy
Why
novel.
can't Bond have a team?
Well, exactly, but the actor right now shouldn't. It's not like he's Superman and he smokes cigarettes in his bed. Like this is different. This is not. This is he. Why is he now sort of become this? I don't know, this representation of Britishness, and then that also gets dragged into when we try and people talk about his ethnicity changing. It's like, well, no, this represents Britain. James Bond is an English gentleman, and well, no, he's not. Somewhere along the way, we've got a bit lost with that character, and we've put way too much on the shoulders of a stupid, fun, dumb spy film.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be a film where they'd have ejector seats in cars and
Absolutely.
shit like that, right? I've always talked about you want to revamp Bond. You just don't hold so hard to the character. Cast someone for 3 movies and then just have Bond be a designation, like a code name.
I'm down
right?
for one movie at this point. I think that the biggest problem with James Bond is that there is too much on a franchise. And Daniel Craig, it's like, yeah, Casino Royale was great. And then the other ones were debatably good.
I thought Skyfall was fantastic.
But that's the thing is, there's some people that hate Skyfall,
Yeah.
and everyone hates Quantum. And Spectre
everyone likes Quantum.
was again
Forgettable.
debatable, but forgettable. But like some people like
Sure.
it, some people don't. But it's I think that somewhere within those 4 movies, there's one really, really, really good movie, and I would be totally down to get one with Daniel Craig, and then one with Idris Elba, and then one with whoever the hell.
Yeah, I think people. The thing is, that's not. I mean, most people go like, "Oh, I like this guy. Let's see him again," right? And there's bankability in that. Or if you know that Daniel Craig can open a James Bond movie, you're going to want to reinvest in him, right? It's the same reason why they don't recast Iron Man every movie, right? Everyone loves RDJ. He did the role. It's fantastic, and that's what they're hoping for in this. The problem is, I think that they just keep trying. They just keep going over the same material over and over again, and there's nothing really that feels new. The reason I loved Casino Royale is I was like, "Fuck, this actually feels like new. This is not a suave debonair Bond. This is a fucking hulking like marauder of a Bond." And I think that's really cool. He's very damaged and fucked up. And then it got muddled, and the writer's strike happened, and then all of a sudden it was like we got back to Skyfall, which then to me is more Roger Moore than it is anything else, because it's like, "Whoa, cool gadgets and cars and shit." I'm like, "Ah, fuck, man, you guys messed it up."
I have a question for you guys, being American as well. Is the world ready for an ethnic Bruce Wayne?
Yeah, I think so. 100%.
Really?
We
Yeah.
just
You
talked
guys
about this
don't
last
feel.
week.
You guys don't feel as.
That was on my mind too in terms of it. I don't think. I mean, I think we are. I don't think the world is.
But I think that's how the world gets ready, though.
Right.
I think that the world
forced.
will never be ready for that, right?
Until you do
I
it.
think it needs to happen, and then like it's the same shit with Doctor Who, right? How many people are upset right now about a woman
Apparently,
being Doctor
apparently
Who?
it doesn't seem as bad. It's a small minority. It seems like.
I mean, no matter what, it's a group, right?
Yeah,
and even
absolutely.
a small minority is a sizable group, and I feel like that group will always be there. It's just this needs to be normalized more and more
Sure.
and more, and then eventually that's when the world will be ready, right? Like the world, it's not just like a ticking clock where it's like eventually it's like now it's time for a Black Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we just need to make it happen and then just stick to it.
I guess we don't do that with technology, do we? I mean, at the end of the day, we always fear change.
Yeah.
And if you
Internet-
ask people to their opinions on something coming, a lot of people scared about change. You thought it normalizes, it becomes part of our thing.
And that's the thing, right? Audiences want what they want, but they also kind of want to be led a little bit, right? Like you can't. What's the old saying? Like you have to give them like I always slaughter this adage, but it's like give them exactly the same as before, but different. Right, that's like every movie we want. It's like give them the exact same thing but
Max
different,
Landis thing.
right? And in this regard, but that's everything, right? That's Marvel's strategy in a nutshell. It's like every Marvel movie is the exact same thing that came before, but a little bit different. And it works, right? But in that regard, but if you asked anyone, would you want that little different thing? You're probably like, no, I don't want that. Because I just want I want my popcorn. I want to sit. I want to have the same experience before. Mirror it for me. You have to be a leader when you're making these movies.
I mean,
You have-
stick
in
with
these
me, right?
franchises,
And I know this isn't. I'm taking off the Greg Miller character that we do, or I'll ham stuff up. This is literally what's happening with the DC cinematic universe. Quality of scripts aside, that Superman's not bright enough. That Superman isn't hopeful enough. It's like they say they want something different. They say that Superman's boring as a Boy Scout. They give them something different, and everybody universally hates it. Everybody's like that. Isn't what I
Oh
want
yeah,
out
I
of
mean
it.
that whole no one was more excited for Superman Returns than I was, except probably you, and Brandon Routh. But like, we got the Donna.
We got literally. You want more Superman?
we
Here
got
it
the
is. I'm like,
Donna.
this is boring. He
We
doesn't
found a
fight
man-
anybody. All right.
We found a man who I think Christopher Reeve's wife was like, oh my god, that's him. I
Yep.
mean, you found it, they got it, and they want more action. So you give a Man of Steel
Too much
and then they
action.
go,
He
"Where's the
killed
comedy?"
people. How did he kill people? Why did people
Yeah.
die? Yeah, it's the exact same thing. And I mean, to this point of like, are they ready for ethnic Bruce Wayne or whatever? I think you already see the people will love that and they'd love that kind of stuff. But the problem is it would come off gimmicky. The problem is that it would get so many people mad that aren't ready for it. And it's what they're doing with Marvel and Spider-Man, right? Where are we ready for a minority Peter Parker? No. But here's Miles Morales, everybody. You know what I mean? Here's his own thing, his own character, his own stuff.
Because Batman comes up a lot for me because it's my favorite franchise, and
For the record, I almost put you in yesterday or last week's topic about who should play Batman because Nick wanted us to do different choices.
Yeah,
and he said it was like what serious pick, fun pick, and then there was like oddball, wild card.
Yeah,
and I think I put you in as wild card, not because it was. Are they ready for this?
Yeah.
But then everybody was like, it was like making like, jokey people, and I was like, I'm not gonna say Rahul right now. I don't mean it like that.
But I mean, but there's a distinction also to be made between like, and this is unfortunate, but I think like, is it changing in your brain if I say, is the world ready for a black Batman or a black Bruce Wayne?
Well, that's what I was going to say,
different,
because
right?
whenever I do speak about Batman,
right?
And I'm never seriously ever campaigning for it. I mean, we're talking about maybe one tweet I might have jokingly wink put my hand up and said I'd love to have a try. People always point me in Batman Beyond because Batman Beyond is played by it's not Bruce Wayne.
Right.
It's
Terry McGinnis. Terry McGinnis.
Yeah, Terry McGinnis.
And Terry MGinnis, you'd have way more leeway with. I'm like,
exactly.
All right,
So people are always suggesting that I don't think they want Bruce to ever change.
That's a good point.
But me as a fan of Batman, even as much as, geez, if Jeff Johns called me tomorrow and was like, "You serious? You want to fucking come in and test? You want to do this?" I mean, obviously I'd jump at the part, but my problem would be the one Indian person in Gotham, the billionaire.
Yeah.
You can see his mouth in the mask, in the cowl, and be like, "You're Bruce Wayne." Because you're the only Indian we have in Gotham. And you'd be like, what?
You'd have to cut your beard too, unfortunately.
I'd have to cut the beard, or my Batman would have to be, his mask would have to just come.
Well, that's why Batman Beyond.
You'd have to go there.
We're rebooting Batman Beyond here, guys. We got it going. Now, Michael Keaton is going to be your Bruce Wayne.
Oh, yeah. If we did Beyond, if we did
oh
Batman
my
Beyond,
God,
that'd be amazing, right?
He passes the torch.
Yeah.
He's in a new movie, by the way. I just saw a preview.
Spider-Man: Homecoming.
No, that's great too. But he's in a movie where he plays like a guy that like a CIA trainer of assassins, and it looks fucking awesome.
I am so glad he's back.
But dude, he's having this resurgence.
There was
a
hole in my heart, and I couldn't put my finger on it until Birdman.
Yeah.
And I was like, my Beetlejuice, my Bruce Wayne is back. He's such an incredible actor. He's so important.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd love to sit down with him and be like, I don't know too much about his past and his history, but I don't know where that like veered off for him, right? Because he was a huge star closing out the 80s. That Batman movie made him big. He did Mr. Mom before that, and like Gung Ho and all these movies that were great. Great comedic actor. Did some great dramatic films too, like Clean and Sober was fucking amazing. And then just nothing for like all the 90s. And I don't know if it was because he just didn't want to do Batman anymore, or if there was some troubles that he had in his life.
Or if he just wanted to concentrate on family.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know one thing about him. His name's Michael Douglas.
Yeah, isn't that wild?
And then he couldn't get his SAG. He needed to change his name, and then he saw Diane Keaton in the newspaper and went, Michael Keaton.
What? Yeah. He was his real name is Michael Douglas, and he had the unfortunate he was coming up when Michael Douglas was huge because of like movies like Wall Street and things like that. Isn't that weird?
That is really
fucking
weird.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's fucking cool. So, is it cool being famous?
I'm not.
Yeah, you are. What's Comic-Con like for you now? Because I met you at the one Comic-Con when nobody knew you.
They did, yeah, and they laughed at the pit whenever we had to tell the synopsis of our show, and they were like, it was hard. It was a tough one, that one. It was amazing. It was incredible to be a part of that, like just even to be at a panel. Now it's all right. It's not Walking Dead. We don't get like, I don't cause a crushing in a comic. It doesn't become a public safety if I'm seen somewhere. It's not that in the slightest. It's a handful of people want selfies. This was the first year that, like, every year I like to, the night before, it's like Rocky when he turns up at the ring. Don't know why, but the night before he fights Apollo. But I like to walk the floor, just buy some stuff and
Wednesday
say hi
preview
to
night?
people. Well, we usually are there for Friday, so I'll do it on a Thursday.
Gotcha.
And I'll just walk around with Malcolm. This year, I wanted to do it. I did it. It got intense. There was a lot more people, and I was like, oh, handler would have been cool, but still not necessary.
Yeah.
That everyone's so sweet, and it's not a big deal at all. It's awesome, and every single person who recognizes me, either it be from the internet or from iZombie, it's awesome to know that the work's been seen. I love it. I will take every photo. I will wait. We do that all the time. Like we were waiting for a bus. Everyone had to stay indoors with bodyguards. I couldn't be bothered with that. I went out into the crowd and just signed until tried to.
Hey, everyone!
But
You're not Rose.
yeah, I just stood out there. Why they could see us through the door.
Yeah. Wait, were you saying that I had a buddy of mine that stayed in a hotel once, and I forget which one it was, but apparently it was where a lot of the like A-list celebrities were staying, directors and producers were staying. And I guess there was so much security that it was like that. He was like, you get through this rush of security, and then it's this quiet lobby where a bunch of just celebrities are sitting on like checking Twitter.
Yeah.
And everyone's just waiting for their ride to come. Apparently,
I wouldn't know what hotel that was because you said A-list. So that's
I'm
where
putting- I
they
put
that's
you
where
at
they
stop
put.
it.
We're at a hotel around the corner. We really are. But yeah, I mean, again, like I said, it's. I mean, I saw a clip. Cause Grant Gustin, I love him to death. He put on social media. There was a video of him outside set, and we shoot in the same city, pretty much always a few roads apart, you know. And on his set, they had about 50 people waiting for him to come out of his trailer to catch a glimpse to do some photos. We had one every 4 months. That's the difference.
Yeah.
And that's the same network. And that's usually Yasmin who's waiting.
Well, she has a blanket now,
Stay the
so
fuck
she gets
away from
cold in
us.
You
Vancouver.
fucking creeper.
But
Don't
yeah,
stab
so
him.
that's just to put things into perspective, even on our own network. Like I never
Yeah.
never lose, don't ever lose sight of it just because of 5-6 people watch your show and say hi at like you're not fucking famous. You haven't done anything yet. It's just the start, and we're very happy with everything and how it's going.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what's your topic, Rahul?
I didn't know. No one told me to bring one.
Yeah, lies. You're a liar. We tell you. It's very clear.
love
This
your
isn't
topic.
Funhouse. You
You
don't just
actually-
walk in and do like, hey,
Oh,
let's PC it up and hit
Is
the
it that- is
demo
it- is
disc.
Yeah, that's what we talked about earlier.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
It's my topic.
Yeah.
Well, my favorite comedy and one of my favorite films of all time is Ghostbusters.
2016, right?
Especially, yeah. it's what got me into the franchise. But yeah,
Oh, that's so sad to think that actually is a movie that probably brought people into the Ghostbusters
Like when I hear people
franchise.
talk about Karate Kid, or I talk about Karate Kid, because shit, man, that's the first thing I ever
Hey,
cosplayed
best
as. That's
around,
the
man,
first
of
thing
course.
yeah.
Naturally.
And also, we all thought, all the Indians back at home, we all thought Ralph Macchio looked like one of us. That was it. So we
Close
claimed-
enough. We got to
claimed
win.
it. Done. He's tanned. He's got dark hair. One of us.
Yeah. Last name is Macchio.
Macchio,
It could
sure.
be.
That's Indian something,
Cool enough.
right?
Yeah, it could be for me.
But Ghostbusters was such an important thing for me.
Hell yeah, it was.
Yeah, and the real Ghostbusters.
Hell yeah.
Oh, and the first time I ever collected merch.
Yep.
Toys, proton
Oh, yeah,
packs,
dude.
everything. And I have, again, this goes back to me. I sound like a fucking egomaniac. Fan casted myself because
Yeah.
it's a dream to want to have been one of those 4. Obviously, the new one. I'm not going to talk about it too much, but it wasn't. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it for multiple reasons, and it had nothing to do with the casting.
It was just that they were women.
I just hated that it was all women. Yeah. No, I just didn't like the style of humor. I actually had
Yeah.
problem. If it was funny, funny's funny. I don't give a fuck. I don't care who does it as long as it's funny. And for me, it didn't hit the comedic beats I wanted it to hit. It was a bit silly.
Yeah.
The
Well, that
whole-
was the problem. Like years and years, like Ghostbusters was my favorite film.
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know that. And years and years ago, when all this started, I like when reboots and relaunches and all this shit, I'm like, they're gonna redo Ghostbusters, and here's why it won't work. And I said this back then, let alone where we are now, is that they're gonna make it into a pratfally comedy. Because like if you do a comedy now, even if you do something as simple as Daddy's Home. A movie that is not good, but number 2 looks kind of good. Where it's just like, hey, here's a bunch of stupid shit. There's this motorcycle
Coming
scene
around,
where they
around.
drive a motorcycle through a house and out a window, and it's so CG and so fake and so
Yeah.
stupid. And it's like and I know it sounds weird, but the practical effects of even a Tommy Boy are like gone. Where it's like Chris Farley actually falling through a table. That's funnier than in Ghostbusters, the
Yeah,
reboot, right?
yeah.
Melissa McCarthy like getting zapped all over the back alley. You're like,
How many
ugh.
times did she do that?
Yeah,
That was-
exactly.
like
15.
Like
I think it was.
15 times in
like-
the one movie.
it just popped into my head because
It just popped in there.
this just popped in there. See, that's why it wasn't. It just didn't hit the beats for me, right? And I'm not going to get into the whole that bullshit with the gender swapping and I don't,
That
whatever.
wasn't the issue.
That was never the issue.
Yeah, I think it's important to say though, like
and
that's,
that
it's
muddies
hard,
the waters.
It does. It's hard to criticize that film because of that discussion.
Yeah,
and it's
that
an
holds
important
people.
discussion to have,
That
but
ties people's hands up, and it makes the argument.
you
become
put in
something
4
else.
male actors in that, right? And there was never a conversation about it being all women, and there was never all the energy that went into that. You still put 4 male actors in that, same comedy, same jokes.
Still wouldn't care.
Still not a great movie.
I wouldn't care.
Still
That's
not a good movie.
exactly. If you just literally swap them for the usual guys, in that position, still wouldn't have worked. So, I don't know. I would love to see a Ghostbusters reboot. Maybe if we are going to adopt a new comedy style, maybe we'll adopt a comedy style like The Office. Maybe we make a mockumentary about a group of paranormal guys trying to start a
interesting.
comedy.
Very good.
A thing. Don't steal my. Or they can steal it now. Write that script.
IP, you got it.
But
Copyright.
I would like to know what everyone's fantasy
See, I love
roles would
this.
be in that.
I love this because
that can be as mixed as you want, whatever you want. Just who you think's going to bring something.
See, I love this. I love the idea, and I love the idea of starting from something different. Like the my brain will not allow me to envision a Ghostbusters film though. That's like mockumentary style. It's a great idea.
I was just doing something
I know that,
different,
but
really.
like to me, it has like I've always wanted them to just be like, just pick up with there's a new threat and there's a group of people that have heard of these Ghostbusters that everyone calls bullshit now because that was in the 80s, and now it's the year 2017 and there's a ghost and they go back and they research that technology and find it and bring it into the new era. But to me, it doesn't have to be all male or all female or all white guys or all whatever. Like I don't think we need that at all. No. I think it's a group of people who are like ghost hunters for all intents and purposes, and they can be mixed gender, mixed ethnicities, all that stuff. And you just going after that.
You gotta either because again, Ghostbusters reboot or Ghostbusters 3. There just came a point where I was like, just don't do it, please.
Well, we had
Just
Ghostbusters
don't
3, didn't we?
do
We
it.
all played it on PlayStation.
Exactly, we did. Fuck yeah, we did. And even that was like, all right, this is just Ghostbusters 1 again. Where is Sigourney Weaver? Why no explanation of this?
Sidebar, was that better or worse than the Back to the Future game?
Oh my god, a league's better.
No,
No,
better.
Ghostbusters the video game was good.
Oh, okay.
No,
Oh,
it
so it was
was.
decent.
But I mean,
Story-wise
like
was a
in terms of the
little-
story, it was like this is just you're just doing Ghostbusters.
7
again,
out of
you know
10.
what I mean? And it,
Yeah, exactly.
I think IGN gave it an 8 out of 10, but no big deal. And they're the final answer on all these things. Don't worry about them.
Did you rate that game?
Yeah. Of course I did. Of course I did. There was actually, I'll never forget that.
That's when you went to New York to hang out with like
Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah,
Holy
we
shit.
shot the Ghostbusters thing. I was in my suit and my proton pack, and I got to meet him.
Oh
hang out
my
with him.
God.
It was awesome. It was
That's
amazing.
incredible.
I love that story.
Gave me the bottle of vodka, the Crystal Skull vodka he sells.
No way.
It's filtered through
No
filtered through
way.
crystals that have spirits in them. True story. Watch his infomercial.
We all need
Gets
a
kinda
vodka
creepy.
company, by the way, because I think George Clooney just sold his tequila company for like $1 billion.
We should get kind of funny vodka
Just throwing
going.
it out there.
Okay.
Well, we're not cool enough for vodka. We need like some
Moonshine?
shitty.
Amaretto.
Say moonshine?
That's great. That's great.
Amaretto.
It's just shitty liqueur.
Yeah, so it was fine. It was just too samey, and that's the problem. Is it's too samey. What you're saying just doesn't make sense. No offense to you, I love you very much and your thing, but it's like
I think-
again, we don't believe in ghosts. Like motherfucker, there was a slime shell around the fucking New York thing, and then you're gonna tell me kids aren't learning in the history books about the time the Statue of Liberty walked down the fucking street and slammed. Like we got to. That's
so-
real.
so
And the
Dialing it
Titanic
back.
docked.
Yeah.
Like,
Dialing it back to what we have. So everyone believes in ghosts, but we haven't seen that in a long time. It's supply and demand.
Sure.
There's no need for the Ghostbusters, right? They've all gone their separate ways. Maybe they're dead, and it doesn't matter, right? Some of them are dead, unfortunately. So I would say, it's just a matter of like. The new class discovers something, and they have to go back. They have to research, and that there's a reason why they're bringing all that cool technology into the new era, right? Smart kid figures out that the proton wand can look like
Neutrona
a
wand, please, Jesus
which
Christ.
proton pack, neutrona wand, Slimer.
Yeah.
Greg, I
Janine.
think you in your eyes. I don't know if you like. I'm seeing that you kind of like my mockumentary Office take on it.
My take
Like
on
them
it.
actually documenting leaving like the upstart of a company, not addressing Ghostbusters one or any of them, just
Yeah.
an upstart and going through that, going on their first ghost hunt and documenting it with a documentary crew.
I like it because it's different. Yeah.
Completely different.
Yeah. Because my take on it would be, because I like to get away from, if we're going to do it, let's reboot it all. And when I say reboot it all, I don't mean put out a fucking trailer for a new movie that says 20 years ago, 4 best friends and then never mentioned because in a different universe. Doesn't make a goddamn sense. I would say we get out of New York. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to rip off Monster Squad. We're going to get out of New York. We're going to go to some suburb, the sleepy suburb where all these kids are going to school or whatever, and make high school Ghostbusters, right? Where you ever see Monster Squad?
No.
Oh, fucking watch Monster Squad. It's a great movie. It's these kids, but they have to fight Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman.
doesn't
I guess
hold up as
it's
much
a fun
as
kid
like-
movie.
it's a fun
I
kid-
actually
it's
went.
definitely a kid
I went and
movie.
saw it a month ago or 2 months ago, whatever, in the
You're a
theater. It was
child.
good.
We've already
It was good.
established this.
There's this awesome moment that I'm building to. I want at the end of my Ghostbusters movie where the movie it's a kids movie, right? Monster Squad. So like the one kid like writes in crayon like, "Dear Army guys, send help! Like monsters are here, whatever," and he sends it off. Then in the movie they beat all the monsters. Spoilers. And then the Army guys roll in and they're like, "Who is Timmy?" or whatever the kid's name is. And the one guy walks up and like, "I am," and he's with all his friends like, "Who are you guys?" And the one kid pulls out a business card they had made. And he goes, "We're the Monster Squad." And that's the only time I want to say Ghostbusters in this film or whatever. We can make the logo, we can do all this stuff.
So they still have they're kids.
Yeah.
So no Ecto one.
They're high schoolers. I want to put high schoolers in there.
I think
Have
high
they
school.
got the
That's
Ecto
great.
one? They get someone's dad's.
It's got to be a
hearse.
dad's car.
Dad's
I think we got to get away from the hearse. Because
Really?
again, like, do we need the Ecto one in the new Ghostbusters movie?
No.
In my mockumentary, we still have the Ecto.
Well, that's awesome because I love the Ecto one and I want to do that with you. But like, I'm just saying that like we need. I think we need to get away from everything. You know what I mean? And like,
Okay.
there's the touchstones and all these different things. But
Are there
like,
cameos?
huh?
Are there cameos?
No, I'm sorry.
I think they lost their chance.
It's like Dan, I love
Who's
you.
your cameo?
Sigourney, I love you.
My cameo is Vigo,
He's dead.
just the painting.
Oh, just a painting?
Just
That's
the
hot.
painting in the
That's good.
background.
That's real good. I like that. All right. We can do that. We
I
can do
had
that.
a pitch for a Back to the Future movie, a sequel to Back to the Future, where two friends find the plans to the time machine online and they build it in a DeLorean and it takes them back to 1985 and the car totally fits in because it's a DeLorean and it's 1985. Never got around to writing that though. No big surprise.
It's good though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing is like, do you understand that like we're not anymore, obviously, but like at the time we were in 2015, if we would have gone back 30 years, we would have been in 1985.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So like that's the whole concept. Like in '85, they went back to what 55 or something like
Yeah,
that.
1955.
So yeah, if they went back 30 years, it'd be the '80s, and
Exactly.
I know the '80s, motherfucker.
Yeah.
So that'd be hilarious.
Talking about
I
going back to the 80s, by the way, I just heard that Creed 2 is going to have Ivan Drago in it.
Oh yeah,
It's
I never
gonna
saw
be,
Creed
It's going to
1.
be a Russian.
Oh, you should
Creed
watch
is great.
Yeah.
Creed's
Creed's damn good.
fantastic.
It is. I mean, it's a Rocky film. It's the exact same.
I cried 4
concept.
times.
Really?
That's everything got me.
It's,
Everything.
But did you? What did you think of Rocky Balboa?
I loved Rocky.
I
Balboa.
loved it too.
I just
Fucking
it just
love that
5
movie.
doesn't exist in my head, and that's it. Everything
That's
else
a
I
tough
love.
one.
I don't care.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
It's like a time capsule. You get to watch cinema, like the same film made every decade. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so you get
yeah.
to see a 70s version of Rocky, an 80s version, a 90s version, millennial. Like it's like watching cinema evolve.
Yeah, Creed is really good. They did.
Sorry.
The team did a great job. with that.
Ghostbusters. Oh no,
yeah,
Tim
yeah.
was going to say something.
I was
Sorry,
gonna
dude.
say, I feel like for the casting, what's important is that it's a group of people that know each other very well, that can vibe off of each other
Sure.
very well. And I'm talking about from actors and directors and producers and writers, everyone involved from like the top level needs to know each other. And it needs to have that vibe that the original Ghostbusters
So you want to take
did.
like the cast of the Workaholics or something
Oh,
like that?
That's what I'm saying.
You want to cast a
No,
zombie.
but here's the thing, though.
Yeah, cast
Ghostbusters
Ivan.
2016 is pretty much exactly what I'm saying, right?
Sure.
Yeah,
because
sure.
that was
Sure.
a group, and even the director and all that.
Yeah, Paul worked with
But
Melissa.
the difference is, the group needs to. I like your idea, not necessarily about the mockumentary. I love that idea, but I like it that it just needs. It doesn't need to be the exact same style of the original Ghostbusters, which is what 2016 was, which was taking that and trying to modernize it.
Right.
I think that is a mistake. It's more just let that group have their take on whatever the thing is. So I'm thinking, and again, I just love these guys.
Sure, throw it
but yeah, the Workaholics guys, I'm
That's a
actually
good pick. That's a good pick.
all fucking about that. But like the Broken Lizard dudes, and some
fuck
of them
yeah.
might be a little too old at this point. But like, I would love to see what they do
We'll
with it,
see what
even
they
if
do
it
with
is
Super
a
Troopers, too.
weirder story, like
Yeah.
totally weird. Like, just let them be like, hey, literally, you're Ghostbusters. Make something.
How awesome would that be if Sony was like, whatever, we're gonna hit up all these different groups and give them X amount of dollars to go make a Ghostbusters movie or short, and then we make a Ghostbusters anthology thing we put
Cinematic
out.
universe that is actually just a bunch of different teams
Just-
making
yeah,
stuff.
it's-
Give them a couple rules where
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, here, you have to make it, it's based in this year, and, you know, there can only be this, and this, or
Well,
whatever.
fuck it. Give
Go.
them the same script. Give a
Hell
group
yeah.
of like 3 or 4 of them the same script for the short film, and let them
just see what
make
they do
it
with it.
and
And
their
improv
style
and
and
do
have
whatever
choose
they
their
wanna do.
director.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
look,
you jumped in,
the-
I'm sorry, my group just threw out would just be the Hot Wet American Summer people, like
Wet Hot
Stella
American
and
Summer
Michael Wayne and all them. That'd be awesome.
He just, I think Michael Showalter is the name of the guy that directed that, and I want to say he directed The Big Sick.
He did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Which is, I just saw this past weekend. I was recommending you see it. It's my fucking movie of the year. so
Really?
far. I fucking loved it, dude.
It's great. Did you not like it?
I can't
I
believe
thought it
you
was
had
good.
criticisms of that movie. I thought it was
Really?
so
Oh,
fucking
we
good.
got to talk about it. I don't want to waste the whole
It
thing
was
now.
so
but-
good.
I loved it.
But I think that's obviously like you guys nailed it, right? Like that you had a group of people who were used to performing together, who came up together at Second City, who were doing Saturday Night Live together. They did Lampoons together. They did all these things together, and they knew each other. And so it was the same as all of us just sitting here collaborating and having and doing something fun. Except they had money and a budget, you know, and they could go and make it bring it into fruition. But I think that. Like, I don't know. I think the big problem with the newest one is that they didn't treat it like a real movie. Like Max Landis said this, and I think it really stuck with me, is like most great comedies are just really good movies, like dramas that have comedic elements to them, right? So like you could legit go back and redo Ghostbusters and have it be a horror movie if you wanted to, with the same premise, because it's a fucking cool premise, right?
Dude, I'm all about this. This is what I want.
You want it to be a horror movie?
I want it to be a horror movie.
But that's what I'm saying.
I don't want
like,
it to be funny at all.
The problem with the movie, and not to disparage Paul Feig either, because Paul Feig is a phenomenal filmmaker. I fucking loved Bridesmaids, but Bridesmaids was good because it was a good movie that had really funny moments to it. You take out all the comedy in Bridesmaids, and it's still a good movie. It's still just about a girl who's like just hasn't progressed in her life, and all of her friends are leaving her behind because they are, and she can't figure out why. Right, and that's you know, and you wrap that in and amongst the plot of someone's getting married, like your friend's getting married, right? That could be a horror movie, that could be a drama, that could be an indie film, that could be a comedy. The problem I think with the new Ghostbusters was that it just didn't. It was like, let's get together and do a scene. What's it about? I don't know.
We'll figure out as we go. I don't have enough wontons in my suit.
My biggest complaint when I sat down, and it was quite apparent early on and stayed the entire way. The biggest problem with 2016 Ghostbusters was, in the original Ghostbusters, they were the eccentrics. They were the guys who said that they believe in ghosts, that they can capture ghosts, and the entire city was played for real. And that juxtaposition, that kind of what's the word I'm looking for? That juxtaposition of that is where the comedy stemmed from. It's why them hold with the oversized packs, and the guy goes like, "What are you guys, some kind of cosmonaut?" And no, someone saw a cockroach up on Twitter. Like the whole world was normal, and they looked like these fucking idiots. And then 2016 Ghostbusters, everyone's a fucking idiot.
Yep.
The guy who fires them from the university, and he's going all of that stuff. What are you doing? It tonally just completely missed the mark,
right?
And it took it away.
It wasn't a believable world.
It just became Anchorman.
To be fair, I think that's actually a little bit of the reason why the second Ghostbusters suffered too, was that you started getting into a lot more of the, like when they came back, they were playing those characters themselves, and all the other characters, even Janine, for instance.
Janine got crazy.
Well,
I thought that there was a little bit more crossover with the cartoon.
Yeah, 100%.
It seemed like the cartoon started to influence a lot of the looks and a lot of the characters. They were almost
give her red hair and cool
It
glasses.
was like they were doing a remake of the real Ghostbusters rather than the sequel to the Ghostbusters.
Right, but that's like that Janine character, for instance, was put specifically there as a plot device to say exactly that. I'm a normal person. Or even Winston was like, I'm a normal person in this.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what Winston's
role was. And these people are
Yeah.
fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like I've seen shit that'll turn you black. You know, like this is fucking nuts. Is it white?
White, because he's black.
Because he's black. That's right.
If you recast it, if you were Winston this time around, I would love that in all black Ghostbusters casting, and Winston's white.
My bad, everyone.
Shit, that would turn you black. Sir, that's racist. You can't say that.
Can't say that. Anyway, but that's a very valid point, right? Is that somewhere along the lines they're just like, I mean, they relied heavily on that improv style, and I think they started to lose
That's
it.
the genius of Winston. The whole thing is she rattles off the list, and she's like, "Do you believe in da 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 da?" And he's like, "If there's a steady paycheck in it, I'll believe whatever you say."
Right.
Because they're the eccentrics.
Right.
They're the wacky, zany guys who were right, and the city slowly realized that they were right too. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. This one was just it was just wacky. It was just. Anyone, I don't know. It upsets me.
Yeah, I don't like
it was a missed opportunity, and I thought that with the same cast, just a different approach would have worked.
Sure,
you know what I mean. The casting didn't even have to change, but the question was about
people catching up in the chat right now.
Yeah.
I apologize, everyone. I did not mean that. But yeah, no, it's solid, and you're right. Like if take that same cast. Wrap it in someone else, and I'm not saying it needs a new director, but have a different story for it and treat it with a little bit more of an adult angle, and you would have had a great film. Because there were moments where I was like, they got a good chemistry
talented.
Together.
Is it Kate McKinnon?
Yeah,
I saw her alts. They released 8 minutes of her alt dial. She did her alt lines for Ghostbusters, where she just improv'd. She's incredible,
dude. Yeah.
Is
where were those
original
tapes?
audition tape?
What's that? Oh no, her alt lines. So
alternative lines.
Alternative lines. Sorry, excuse me.
Got it.
Yeah, they just released Kate McKinnon. It was on YouTube. Just all her improv and just trying it out and giving it different. It was incredible. She's so talented. She would still probably be in my dream casting.
Interesting.
I wouldn't replace Kate McKinnon. I think she was fantastic.
Who's the rest? Who do you got? The lineup.
I can't get off the idea of Martin Freeman. Because I love him. He's in my favorite UK comedy. He's got such a wonderful comedic timing and presence, but he's a beast of an actor.
I will always love Martin Freeman.
Martin Freeman. He was Tim he's the Hobbit, Bilbo Baggins. And
okay, thank you. Yeah, he was in a movie called Love Actually.
He was.
Which again, I didn't say this on stream. I didn't say this on stream. Every UK actor is in Love Actually.
No,
they're all. You go act in the UK, you're gonna be in everything.
It's I will forever love Martin Freeman because of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh yeah,
I loved that fucking movie, and I don't know why it didn't do well. I don't know why it didn't work.
But this is why, like Martin Freeman is to a certain degree my Bill Murray, because Bill Murray is a phenomenal actor.
Yeah,
and we've seen that, and he's proven that like time and time again. And then on top of that, like his comedic chops are second to none. I think Martin Freeman in his own right. Not necessarily with improv, like with the SNL stuff or anything, but Martin Freeman for me just knows how to hit the comedic timing, and I just think he'd ground that movie. So he would be one of my choices.
He's the ultimate. I mean, look at him with Benedict Cumberbatch in Sherlock. Like he's such a fucking good straight man,
and he just makes such interesting choices.
Yep,
that's one of my picks.
Okay.
So
I do have another one.
Go for it.
Hey, lay out your whole.
It's another Brit though.
Yeah, give it to me.
What a surprise!
I'm stuck on Brits.
Oh wow.
It's Richard Adowaji. Am I pronouncing right? Adowaji from the IT Crowds. Google him, you guys. When you see him, guy with the afro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And again, I've seen him on guest panels and comedic shows. I've seen him on tons of work.
How do you spell it?
Adej. There you go.
Nope, I didn't get that. Hold on.
Type in the IT Crowd.
IT Crowd.
He's so funny.
It's insane.
Oh yeah. He was
intimidatingly funny.
He was in.
He was in the Neighborhood Watch.
The Watch.
The Watch.
Because and it's unfortunate because that movie was really fucking funny. And remember
Ben
that was
Stiller picture.
It's Ben Stiller, Vince Vaughn, this gentleman, and I forget who else was in it. But the movie was really, really funny. But it unfortunately came out around the time
George Zimmerman. Sorry.
And so they had to stop calling it the Neighborhood Watch. They started calling it the Watch, and I think that it just took down the movie a little bit.
Gotcha.
But go and watch that movie. It's actually really fucking funny.
This guy, you've seen him. You know who he is.
He actually played. I don't want to spoil it.
He's used in GIFs a lot. I see him in internet.
He's very gifable.
Actually, this guy, I forget this actor's name too. He's
from
the
Irish actor. He was in Bridesmaid.
Yeah. He's hilarious too. He's in a movie that I keep. It's on my Netflix queue or Amazon queue, but I haven't watched it. It's like The Perils of Time Travel or something like that. Anyway, don't worry about it. Never mind.
Chris O'Dowd.
Is that his name?
That's his name.
There you go. There it is.
Another great actor.
He's hilarious.
He's
in
so,
fact,
like,
I need
IT Crowd. You guys should all watch IT Crowd. Such a good show.
It is really good. I need to stop. You guys have to jump in because I keep naming Brits because then the next one's going to be me.
Yeah, of course.
I would love to see you.
Now, what are you playing now? Are you playing? Are you sticking with the names? I would take.
If I could, I would take the Egon role.
Yeah,
I thought
I can see that.
I love, and I
For some
kind
reason I
of
can
play
picture you, like, in a
something
lab
similar.
coat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm being lazy with my own casting.
Just put glasses on me.
Right, exactly.
You already have a lab coat, so you're good to go.
Or I would take the role of the Winston. I'd love to play that role too, because Malcolm plays that Winston role, not because Malcolm in our show is black, but because Malcolm plays the straight man
like,
around eccentrics who's always just like, and how Malcolm explores.
He's the audience, basically.
Yeah, and what he does, if you ever get to see it, but what he does with being the straight man, and he's turned that into probably the funniest character without breaking the rules. It's I'd love to try that. Being the straight man and still being hilarious, that's like, that's a gift.
Gotcha.
That entices me.
Tim, what do you think of all this?
Well, like I said, I think Workaholics, I'm totally sold on that, but Broken Lizard's my thing. I love Broken Lizard. I'd love to see that.
Outside of Super Troopers, what have they done?
I love every movie that they've done.
What else have they done? Lizard, whatever?
Whether it's Club Dread or Beer Fest or even Slam and Salmon, which fucking had its issues. Again, not the biggest Ghostbusters fan, so for me, it's like they can't ruin it.
But
except
had
they could.
they been able, if like I'm talking Broken Lizard, maybe now I don't know. We'll see what Super Troopers 2 comes out like
if it ever happens.
If it ever happens. Speaking of which, I backed that, so that shit better happen. But flash back to early 2000s, I want to say Super Troopers comes out. Everyone's like, "Who the fuck are these guys? They're amazing!" And then they announce these guys are the next cast of Ghostbusters, they would have fucking knocked it out of the park. Or it would have been a tragedy.
I
But
just
it
thought
would've
of
been-
2 Americans. I'd love to run 2 American names by you.
Yeah, go for it.
Both men.
Okay.
Will Arnett and David Cross.
Oh shit, yeah.
Because I love Arrested, and I
Sure.
could see that as well.
Oh my god.
I don't know
yeah.
why, like the Venkman role played by Will Arnett.
I mean,
He's
I would.
handsome in that way, and
Yeah.
he's got. I don't.
I'm gonna throw this out at you because my brain defaults to like AAA celebrities that don't need the work.
You're going for Daniel Day, aren't you?
The Rock, Zac Efron.
It's
From cast
not
we always
Daniel
do.
Day-Lewis. No,
Steve Harvey.
no, I would love to. I mean, people brought his name up before, but I'd love to see Chris Pratt be that Venkman
Wow.
role. Like that, I think he could play that lovable idiot. Like I don't really know what I'm doing role, which is exactly kind of the role he always plays and everything.
See, for a Venkman-like role, I would love to see Miles Teller.
He's such a good, like he's almost too good of an actor to play that role though. Like,
But I mean, this is 2000. I mean, he's gonna
Remind
be.
me
It's
of
gonna be a
Miles
more.
Teller?
He was in Spectacular Now. He was
Fantastic
in
Four.
Four.
Oh yeah.
I like to
He
name
was
the
hanging
good
out with The
movies he
Rock
was
this
in.
weekend.
I saw
Yeah,
that at the fight.
The UFC fight. They're
Yeah,
sitting next to each
Rock.
other.
Did you see The Rock? Did you say,
Oh,
hey,
I did.
thanks
He
for
was
kind of
a
playing
little, a little far from me.
We'll get to that later, I'm sure. Okay, yeah.
A lot of celebrities that fight this weekend. I love Chris Pratt. I think he's got some of the best comedy chops. Obviously, he comes from that world. I think he could totally play it. I think you have to bulk down a little bit though. He's a little too big right now.
Bulked down. Yeah.
Bulked
But
down a
everybody's
little
gonna
bit.
be bulked up in this thing because it's like that's how
Nah,
it
they
is.
won't be. You don't need everyone bulked up. That's the problem, right? Is that you don't need that. Like your brain, you can't default to that. These are the outcasts.
Guess what
These are
though?
the
You
people.
can't do that anymore. That's not the world we live in.
You don't need a shot where
Go
Chris
watch
Hemsworth takes his
watch
shirt off. Oh, wait.
1984 Ghostbusters and be like, how many of these people would be allowed on film nowadays?
That
None
is
of them.
fair. Bill Murray, not the best.
Sigourney
looking
Weaver
human
would've
being. Yeah, Sigourney Weaver was amazing.
I'll just take the cast of 21 Jump Street, add James Franco, and call it a day.
Oh fuck, they
See,
would kill it.
my thing about
Even
it
with
is
Brie
I
Larson,
love-
Brie Larson.
Why can't you?
It feels like we're doing the bridesmaid thing. It's with
Sure.
that one.
That's all we're doing.
But what about this? What if they merged it with Men in Black? Or I'm sorry, what if they did what they're going to do with Men in Black and 21 Jump Street and put them together that way? Ghostbusters and 21 Jump Street.
No.
Ghostbusters
Hold on,
are
I
already
like where you're
established.
going.
It's already goofy.
Men in Black, Ghostbusters. Yes.
That
would be
that doesn't
amazing.
make any
That
sense.
crossover. I'm fucking
We're fighting aliens and ghosts
I don't know
now.
if I
Hell
want
yeah.
Channing Tatum,
Oh, I
Jonah
want him
Hill.
everywhere.
I'm a little like
Now
I
they're
don't
too old,
need-
but they would've been
I
good.
don't need. Yeah,
Danny,
that's the
I'll
problem
take a
too, is,
Danny
like,
Glover. I know he's not in 21 Jump Street, but you guys watch.
do you mean
Community.
Donald
Donald
Glover?
Glover.
Donald Glover.
Is it Donald?
Yeah.
Donald, yeah.
Danny
Danny-
Glover is
Danny's
too old
Danny's
for this shit.
Lethal
Yeah,
Weapon.
he's-
Lethal Weapon.
I'll take them both.
He'd be the shit. I would
But
love
I
it
know,
if
I'd take
Danny Glover were in that too.
Donald Glover, I'd absolutely.
Donald Glover's a great pick for that.
He's incredible.
I'd
He's-
cast him in anything.
Oh yeah, he would be he would kill that. That's the problem too. Is like you're getting into like the Parks and Rec, the Community casts, like all these casts that you know have really good.
That's what I'm saying. I
chemistry
think
with each
that's
other.
important.
Broad
Like
City,
Brie
I know a lot of
Brie
people
Olsen,
love-
not Brie
Oh my
Olsen,
God.
Alison
Broad
Brie, excuse me.
City.
Broad City Girls would be amazing.
Broad City Girls. Yeah, fuck. I don't know. I'm trying to think of who would match with them. Like two more that
That's
would.
why
like,
I wouldn't want to
perfectly
take. That's why I
match.
just wouldn't want to take one show and have them make it. Like I don't want. I'd like a dream ensemble team.
I
'cause
like
there's
this.
so much good talent spread across.
Yeah, I agree with you.
See, I'm going with my young Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Right. We're starting off with this.
Stranger Things.
Defending. Yeah, I know. I'm trying to. Exactly. That's the problem because also in the trailer they're in the Ghostbuster uniform.
Oh,
so
yeah,
it's so
of course they are.
goddamn
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Shout out to that
But I'm
trailer.
saying
Yeah.
I need a cool older brother. I need a high school girl and a high school boy. I need a young boy and a young girl is what I've cast.
Eric
this as.
Matthews, Corey Matthews, Topanga, Sean Hunter.
If you want to go back in time and get them to reboot Ghostbusters, I'm all in. That's a great one. That's
I
a
don't
good
know
pick.
many kids.
Yeah, I know. That's the problem.
Tom Holland. I mean, he's 19.
Tom
That's
Holland
the
would make her
problem.
great. Yeah, he'd be
I did
great.
think of the Stranger Thing kids. They're out there doing stuff. Yeah, Maisie Williams. She could do things.
She could.
She
Yeah,
can do things.
She can do things.
There's too many British people though. We've
I
already.
know. Oh,
You
really?
got to go away from this.
This is a British
We're
reboot
all-
of
yeah.
Ghostbusters.
Although a British
Hell
reboot
yeah.
of Ghostbusters would
Well, I
be
guess
fucking amazing.
We'll
That
put,
would be
put
incredible.
McGonagall in it.
London.
Oh
and
my
it's
God!
happening
Why
right there.
couldn't? Why could?
can't-
I would
there's no reason why I
absolutely
can't.
a British remake. That way we can retell
gotta
the
have-
same story, but it's
Yeah,
British.
Yeah.
You have the
just gotta
weird
have one-
siren and the weird light.
yeah, exactly. And our hearse don't look like that. That'd be awesome. Oh,
That'd be amazing. I'd love to shoot that.
Ricky Gervais.
Yes. I'm liking where this is going. Yeah, Martin Freeman. Yeah.
Martin Freeman.
Yeah. Keep this going.
Benedict
Hugh
Cumberbatch.
Grant.
Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant as the mayor of London.
Jeez, this would be awesome.
Oh no, it's just a sequel to Love
David
Actually.
Beckham.
He's still the prime minister.
He should be
Hugh Grant. Do you have? do you have term
instead
limits?
of the mayor, we have the prime minister.
Yeah. Do you have
and
term
it's-
limits?
Yeah. 4 years.
That's gonna be hard to. That'll be hard to retcon in why he's still there.
No one knows
Because I
when
want
Love
him and
Actually
his
was happening.
girlfriend. Yeah,
There's no dates on Love Actually.
Oh, but no, we,
Huh?
You can be prime minister for like 20 years.
You can be prime minister.
Yeah.
Oh,
They don't have term
great. So
limits.
he's still there. Everybody still loves him.
Fan
Great.
favorite.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. I like this a lot. All right. We got a picture, guys.
Can I
we
ask
got
you
a
a
picture.
question out of pure naivete?
They live in Big Ben. That's where they.
I've been to Big Ben,
that's
sir,
the
and
fire hall.
I have checked. There was no one living there. Do people in the UK love Hugh Grant as much as the Americans do?
Because we love.
Because
Hugh
we
Grant.
fuck. He's a national treasure for us.
They don't dislike him.
Good.
I just don't. It's not a conversation. There is a few people we love.
Can you ask your
Let-
friends
hold
next
on.
time you go over there if they
Shortlist who's the people the British people love.
Oh God, what do you reckon, Yaz? Throw out some names. Who do we love? Do we love the royal family? These guys love the royal family more than
No,
we
don't
do.
love you. You don't love the royal family. Oh, you like the Prince Harry and the Prince
She'd
William?
know better than me. I haven't been home for like years. Who do we love?
You love you.
Well, you guys are loving
Sports personalities come up
Yeah,
a lot.
Beckham. No,
Not Harry.
Beckham's always going to be loved, I think.
No, it is Harry. It's Harry and is dating the girl from Suits, right? And that's a big, that's a hot relationship, man. Did you hear about this?
Suits. No, I don't
Prince
know what
Harry is
Suits
dating one of the actors
Oh,
from
yeah,
the
yeah.
USA show Suits, and it's hot. They're a good looking.
You keep saying it's hot. Okay, that's what it means. Okay,
yeah, they're
And
good.
do, like
they're
sex
great,
tapes leak.
I
or
mean,
is it just
well, this is the royalty we're talking about, but if it does, I would.
Why
definitely
would
watch
why
it.
did like they've had no privacy forever?
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Royalty.
Ian McKellen?
As
We
a
love
Ghostbuster.
him.
Oh,
What about Patrick
David
Stewart?
Attenborough. Jeez, how could
yeah.
I forget?
he's the narrator guy, right? He narrates stuff.
He doesn't just narrate. He's been part, like he makes them.
Oh,
So
wait.
his role's been reduced slightly as he's got older and older and older.
guys like
Did he
Top
do
Gear
Planet
on
Earth
it.
too?
Top Gear, we did.
he did.
They're not loved. The show was loved. I think they're kind of a bit.
Where do you come down on Wheeler Dealer, which is the best show?
Yeah,
ever
Nick
made?
watches Wheeler Dealer. You know that one. I haven't watched it much.
There's like 400 seasons of it, so if you guys want to jump in, there's lots of stuff to go back and look at.
Helen Mirren.
Oh, Helen
I
Mirren's a
think
treasure. We love her
she's
here
loved.
too, though.
McGonagall.
Yeah, Maggie Smith.
Smith,
Maggie
yeah.
Smith
Yeah,
is
yeah.
loved. Emma Watson, is she loved?
Oh, she's got to be. Come on.
I guess she's pretty loved. Ooh. Whatever.
Of course,
People in
of
the UK
course.
in the chat are throwing out a lot of
Oh
names.
yeah. This would be interesting.
Elba, Bale, Firth, Simon Pegg.
Simon Pegg.
You know what? This
Oh my
might be
God,
for their
yeah.
cast. Actually, I'm sorry, they might not be.
Oh well, Simon Pegg is
Hugh
a
Laurie?
great shout for that. Hugh
Simon
Laurie,
Pegg would be
yeah.
good. Yeah, people are saying that
Hold the fuck up.
the Edgar Wright crew would be
Yes.
amazing for Ghostbusters.
Oh my
And
God,
that's what I
actually
want.
would
That'd be
take that.
amazing.
That is what
Okay,
I want. I
yeah.
want an Edgar
I
Wright
would-
directed
Nick Frost.
Ghostbusters with the whole crew.
Nick Frost and Simon Pegg.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd
Fuck,
be
that would be
amazing.
awesome.
Wow.
That would be a perfect film.
That is it.
That's a perfect film.
Damn.
Can they live in Big Ben though? Can they? That'd be the
Fuck
firehouse.
yes. No, that's the firehouse. Yes, they have
Yes.
a pole that goes all the way
Yeah.
down. One of them
We'd
dies
also
because
get.
it's
That means we'd also get.
50 stories.
I'm picking up too much speed.
Every time, let go. Don't let go. Don't let go.
It's tearing the skin off. Let go. Let go.
Why didn't we put a pad down there? Oh,
We'd also
sorry,
get
guys.
Peter Serafinowicz if we get the and I love Peter Serafinowicz
Who's
because
that?
he's the voice of Darth Maul and he's now playing the Tick and he pops up in everything.
He's really good.
really
have you
good.
seen The Tick? Have you seen
No,
the
I
pilot
haven't got
for
a
The Tick?
chance to yet.
There's a pilot on Amazon Prime if you
yeah.
have it.
My friend's
It's
in
actually
it.
pretty good. I was a huge fan of the cartoon. Did not like when they tried to do live action with Putty from Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Did not like that, but this new one's pretty good.
Spoon.
Spoon.
Tim, what's your topic?
My topic is UFC. Specifically
Yeah,
because I
Ultimate
just
Fighting
spent
Championship.
a weekend at my boy James Burke's bachelor party. His bachelor party was insane, quite possibly the most ridiculous bachelor party of all time in terms of events. Number of events crammed into such a short period of time. So I joined them halfway through. They started it Thursday and Friday, Vegas. Okay, they did it. They hit Vegas super
I
hard.
feel like I'm gonna need notes.
Joined them Saturday morning. I went to LA to meet them. So they drove from SF to Vegas, drove from Vegas to LA. I flew into LA. We went to a Giants versus Dodgers game.
Who won?
And the Dodgers won,
that's unfortunate.
which was not good for my group of people that
No.
were very loud and
All
proud.
wearing orange and black.
A lot of
probably.
orange, a lot of
Yep.
black. I was wearing blue and white because that's what I do.
Right.
They gave me a lot of shit for that.
Yeah, that's Dodgers colors.
But you blended in.
Our team won, I guess.
There you go, go Dodgers.
But anyways, so we did that, and that sucked, and that's where I got blistering sunburns.
Wear a
And it
hat.
was
Why don't you just wear
absolutely fucking
sunscreen?
horrible. Fashion over function.
That's not.
Greg.
It doesn't have anything to do with fashion. For
No,
sunscreen.
honestly, because I didn't fucking expect my dumb shit friend to get seats where we're sitting in the sun. It's
Baseball
like
game.
he's like,
Yeah,
nah,
that's
dude, we got this. I should have known when you said we're in a section that's all you can eat. That's not gonna be
that's not
That
going to
would
be.
not gonna be good.
That's not going
but
to be.
he
a
showed me
sweet.
pictures of it, and he's like, "Nah, dude, like here's where we're at." And I'm like, "There's covering, there's shade, there's
Sure.
this indoor area, blocked by the bleachers. You can't even see the game. Not a problem for me. We're getting in way ahead of
Getting
ourselves.
the
It
weeds.
doesn't even fucking matter.
Yeah.
I got really badly sunburned. Then we went straight from the game to Anaheim to go to the UFC events.
Yeah.
Cormier versus Jones.
John Jones. Yep.
And that
The
happened.
Martian
And then
Manhunter.
the next day we went to Disneyland, and that was when I actually had fun. And it was a lot of fun. But back to the UFC thing. I've never watched UFC. Nick, you're a huge fan of UFC.
I am a big
So
fan
I got
of
to
UFC.
be there. I got to see this whole spectacle.
I
out
was
here.
very
This is a
jealous.
big deal fight.
I was live tweeting it, as you do, as one does. And people kept asking, is Nick at the fight? To which I begrudgingly had to respond, no, but Tim is at the fight.
So many
And
people
most people were
texted
like,
me saying,
huh.
"Are you and Nick at the fight?" I'm like, "No, just
Nope.
me."
Nope.
It was
you.
quite the experience.
Did you ever? Is this like the one moment you're like, man, I should have been better friends with James?
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
You would've
It's
been
one
there.
of those things. Like I never even think to go to a UFC fight, largely because I actually just like watching them at home.
It's a better
for
experience.
two reasons. One, I think it's easier to watch. And two, you get expert commentary from Joe Rogan. And I think Dominic Cruz was announcing this fight as well. I like hearing that. I like being like, oh, I think that's this, and then either being corrected or being validated. And there's just something about that live event of UFC where people get like there is an alpha male aspect of UFC goers that I think you get a lot more of when you go to the event. You get like, I haven't been to one in a really long time, but last time I was one, I looked around and there was a sea of affliction shirts and a lot of people were getting drunk, and you get a lot of people who train, quote unquote, and who really want to try to like use that on someone, like looking for a fight basically.
Well, I mean, even more than that, like you put them together, and I mean, any sporting events this way, like even being at the Dodgers
Sure.
SF thing, there's obviously a rivalry there. So it's like, it was uncomfortable when people would start yelling shit at us, and I'm like, I didn't give a fuck. But had my group of friends been a little more drunk and a little more, ready to fight, that could have been an issue.
Sure.
You put that in a fighting environment where people are betting on these two dudes, and
Yeah.
there was thousands of dollars on the line. By the way, James Burke won $3,000.
Did he really?
Damn.
Good bachelor party.
What did
Yeah.
he put? He put all his money on Jones.
No, it was like a parlay. He did this whole
Interesting. He did a
thing.
spread.
Anyways, what you're talking about is so true. Where it's like it was kind of like, oh, there's a lot going on here, and I'm like, I want no part in this.
It's a fun energy, and I shouldn't speak ill of people who go to those fights. I'm generalizing ultimately. Like I've been to 3 fights, or been to 3 fights, seen a scuffle at one of them once. So it's not like people are gonna like beating the shit out of each other in the bleachers. That's an unfair
there was
statement to
I
say.
had at
There's
least
just a lot of
three,
it's an
3 to 5
aggressive
fights
sport
that I saw.
Did you?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
No, whether in or right outside the area.
This
Yeah,
is
it was-
baseball.
No.
This is the
So
fighting.
no, UFC.
Oh, this was at the fight.
He
Oh,
went
this
to
is
a
fight.
baseball game in the morning, and then the UFC fight that happened.
And there were
in
no
Anaheim.
fights at the baseball.
No fight at the baseball, but a lot of attempted fights. People tried to start shit with us for sure, but it didn't happen. But then, the UFC thing, man, it was interesting because I agree with what you're saying. Where I'd rather watch it on TV, like even like with wrestling, the closest thing I got is WWE. And any wrestling event I've been to has been cool for the spectacle
It's
of it
fun.
and seeing everyone be
Yeah.
there and hearing the cheers and stuff. But like, you really lose a lot when you're not hearing people explain to you what's
The
happening.
commentary is a big portion of it, right?
And especially more in wrestling, I'd say, because that is the storyline of it.
well, that's
right?
also the entertainment aspect. Oh my God, he's doing it. There's that adds to it for sure.
It
Yeah.
all comes down to how deep you're into anything. Wrestling is the one thing I think going to is a different experience. Well, not the one thing, but in terms of this, like I've gone to dozens of WWE shows and ECW shows and whatever shows, and going there, it's that shared experience of we're all so in. We don't need to be told that's a suplex. We don't need to be told he's going for something. It's that thing and that shared crowd reaction, the screaming and the fall and the ride of it all, I guess. Whereas when I go to UFC, I fall in the same boat as like, well, what you're talking about. I'm just like, I don't know what the fuck's going on.
I mean, I don't know what the fuck was going on either. It's really interesting for me to compare the two because even though we know what the suplexes are, I don't think they're entertaining to watch unless someone's telling me they're entertaining to watch. Whereas with the fight, because there was 2 people literally beating the shit out of each other, it's like it was a bit more like real where I'm like, I don't need to understand what's happening.
You just see someone fall down bloody.
If
and
someone
he
falls
lost.
down, doesn't get up, like that's
Yeah.
the end of it, right? And so like that to me was one of the things. WWE obviously much more of a spectacle, a lot more pizzazz in everything that they do. The entrances,
Well,
and
it's like theatre, right?
absolutely,
It really is. It's live theatre.
not just their performances, but even just them walking out, even
Yeah.
just like the lighting and the just everything. It's so hype. The UFC thing, I was just like, are you kidding me with these entrances?
No presentation, for
Dude, the presentation was like sad. It was bad. Like they come out to songs, most of them would come out to songs where it'd be like, it'd play one verse, stop, and another song would start. And I'm like, who who decided this was okay? Like, it doesn't even make sense to me. And all the lighting was all the same. All that stuff was like so similar. I'm like, all right,
So
I
you-
get that they're
you
there
would-
for the real reasons,
Yeah.
which is the fights. But it's like, man, I wouldn't ever want to pay for this.
I think
As an event.
I
You
want to
want
say
more glitter.
Bellator or
Need the glitter, man.
I want to say it's Bellator does a little bit more hype entrances than UFC. Like they'll do the entrances where it's like down the ramp.
What's
and, like,
Bellator?
it's a competing fighting brand,
Gotcha.
a competing MMA promotion. I think is what they call it.
I mean, that was a
Promotion
shout out, you know what I mean, to CM Punk for his fight that he came out to his WWE music. You're like, yeah, I mean, it's just cult of personality, but whatever.
Right.
It's still,
Still.
like, that's fucking cool.
And to be fair, like there's people that came out to music that fit their personality, and like there was some of that there. And as we went through the card, it did get a bit bigger and bigger. Like for the final Cormier versus Jones fight, like that definitely they did have entrances, and they were way more like focused, and they'd cut all the lights and like do cool stuff with it. But like I'm getting really in the weeds of that stuff. But really though, like watching the fights, I just feel like the storytelling of all of it, and as it was happening, it was very exciting to watch, and it was super fun until it wasn't. And it's like there was certain matches where I'm like, holy crap, this is so boring.
The match you're referring to was the second to last match, which is Tyron Woodley versus Damian Maia, and that unfortunately happens sometimes, right? So let's go out of the matches out on the main card. I didn't watch a lot of the undercard, so I don't know when you guys got there, but there's an undercard and a main card. The main card's what's televised. The undercard is dark fights, basically.
We were
where-
there. We watched. There was I think 10 fights or something like that before the main card.
Yeah, that looks about right.
we
from
saw
here.
3 before the. main
Okay,
card
so
started.
I started with Vulcan Otismere versus Jimmy Manwara. I can't say any of these guys' names. That
Manua.
fight lasted 22. That was the very first fight that was televised.
And
that
it was
lasted
awesome.
22 seconds.
So pretty much what happens is it's the first real match of the night. Fucking, they come out with their entrances. They come in. It's like ding, 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 go.
Manawa, excuse me.
Bah, done. And I'm like, holy shit, this is gonna be awesome. And then the rest of the fights were like, slow.
So the next fight was, I would disagree. See, the next fight, and that's the thing, if you watched it, I think you could have gotten a lot more. Because the other problem with UFC is like, it's not like boxing. You have a cage in your way. So if you're really far away, you have to watch the big screen to see what the hell's going on. If you're not watching the big screen, you're just seeing two little dudes like kind of doing stuff. You don't get the intricacies of it. The Robbie Lawler Donald Cerrone fight, which was the next fight, was a fucking bloodbath. And if you couldn't feel the energy of that fight, like it went 5 rounds and it went to decision,
Yeah.
Robbie Lawler won. But I thought it was the fight of the night.
So the thing with that is like being in the room as it was happening, whoever won, everyone was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, he did
I
not win.
I thought Cerrone should have taken that fight too, but Robbie
So
Lawler
back home,
took
it
that
wasn't
fight.
that clear as well.
No, I didn't like. I to me it was because I was like, I thought Cerrone should have won that fight, but I guess he lost on strikes.
Man, just wait,
He just
because like,
didn't land enough
it was like
punches.
unanimous decision. This guy won. Everyone around. It was like that was one of the boo
Right.
moments of the show. 'cause
That
it's
was a
like,
boom
nah,
moment.
nah.
The Chris Cyborg Tanya Evinger fight was awesome.
Was it awesome?
Yeah.
Or is it just proof that there's no match for that?
There's no
woman?
match for Chris Cyborg, but that's what everyone wanted, and that's what they got. Everyone wanted for to catch you guys up. Chris Cyborg, I forget where she comes from, but she's fighting at 145, but she really probably walks around at around 160, and no one can beat her. And they're trying to they have a little bit of a
Ronda
problem
Rousey?
in the they have a problem in the women's league is that it's still coming up and they're still adding talent to it. And so when you have a superstar like Chris Cyborg, you have to sort of get people to fight her.
To be clear, she changed her name to Cyborg?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like she goes by Chris Cyborg. Like
yeah.
and dude, seeing her, it's like
Does she come out of the Terminator 2
I think
song?
she changed her name to Cyborg.
no. I
forget
forgot
what her
where
real
she's
name
from,
is.
but she comes out to.
She's Brazilian, I'm pretty sure.
yeah, but she's very Brazilian then. Like that's her whole
Come out in the
thing.
Triple
people
H
with the
thing.
flags.
With like a little,
What is her real name?
dressed like a robot.
But yeah, she came out, and then there
Yeah,
was
it's-
this other woman, and they built it up like they showed the whole like hype trailer of
Sure.
like what this match means, and I'm like, all right, cool, let's go. And then the fight starts, and it's just like, oh, that other woman is fucked.
There was I follow a guy named Brendan Schraub, he does a podcast called Fighter and the Kid, but he's an ex-fighter and he does a lot of commentary. And he was like, "Am I the only person that feels really bad for Tanya Evinger right now? Like scared for her?
Well-
because Cyborg, if you look at the differences between
Show
these
me
two
a
fighters-
photo of Chris Cyborg.
Oh my god, it's fantastic.
But like seeing them fight, like the other woman, like Chris Cyborg is
them
fucking
fight.
like
That's
destroying
Chris
people.
Cyborg.
Jesus.
Oh wow.
She is.
She's an action figure.
fucking
No, she is.
jacked.
And, but the other woman,
shredded.
you can
Cut
see
to the other
fear
person.
on her
It's
face.
just like, she looks like Mrs.
Well,
Garrett
and
from
she,
Facts of
I
Life.
think she took that fight on short notice too. I think Tanya Evinger actually stepped in to take that fight. I don't know how long she had for that.
So that was the other thing. Tanya Evinger, her nickname, because of course they all have the nicknames, right? Hers was Tanya Triple Threat.
So that's Tanya
Evinger.
Evinger.
Yeah.
So you see a big difference in their body types. Obviously, Chris Cyborg just looks like she could fucking bench press a car, for Christ's sake.
Is that right, though? The triple threat?
What do you mean? I'm sorry, say that again.
Her
I missed
nickname's
that
the
statement.
triple threat.
Tanya, I don't know. I don't know. much
Tanya,
about it.
triple threat, Edinger.
Sure.
So I got super excited.
Sure.
Thinking we're about to see 3 people fight at once in the fucking ring.
Oh,
and I'm like, I was
wow.
like, is that a thing in UFC? What the fuck? And then
That'd be
it
awesome.
wasn't.
Can you imagine? That'd be
So I got
fucking
super
rad.
hyped, and then instead I just got to see Chris Cyborg almost kill this woman.
Yeah, she almost called her. It was exciting.
Really?
I mean, dude, no,
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
like she looked so scared. With every shot of her, she's just like, and like you could see her mouth guard, like she was just biting onto her, just like, I'm just gonna take this hit, and I just hope it doesn't actually kill me.
She did well. She held her own. But yeah, I think Chris Cyborg just was able.
I have
to
a question for you,
overwhelm her.
Tim.
Yes,
So you're a fan of wrestling.
I am.
I'm about to say something so offensive here. Did you found the spectacle and the theater of wrestling far more entertaining than you did UFC? But did the whole risk factor of the fact that these people were literally beating the crap out of each other, and that it wasn't as, I don't want to say staged, but the other
I'd
one's
say that about
entertainment.
wrestling,
the other
yeah.
one is a sport. Like
Yep.
it's a real
Yep.
deal thing.
Which is
Did
why
that
I'm not
not
into it.
heighten? Did that not
So
heighten it,
that-
knowing that they were really?
That's the thing. It's
Bloodsport.
weird to me because I mean, all this proved to me is I'm not into fighting. I don't like it.
Sure.
This is way too brutal for me. I just don't. I do not enjoy it at all. Wrestling, that's what I like. The wrestling is my least favorite part about wrestling. So I was like, I could totally do without any of that.
You like
right?
the storylines and the
Yeah, just and also it's not like I'm the biggest wrestling fan in
Sure.
the world. It's more like I enjoy what it is.
Yeah.
Like I am in it for the spectacle. Watching these fights was interesting because it was more like, all right, I don't know any of the backstory. I'm trying to get it from my friends who are all super hyped. They all bet thousands of dollars on this, so they're super into it. So that was cool. Where I'm like, we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you don't
this
know.
isn't Triple H versus the Undertaker, where it's like,
And that's the thing.
You didn't know it was
talking-
gonna happen
A lot
this,
of people in the
uh,
chat are talking about this. First off, Tanya went up from 135 to 145, which is a big weight increase to be able to fight at that level. It's hard to do that. But she did. At first, I saw her and I saw Chris Cyborg, and I was like, "There's no way Tanya Amager is going to get the shit kicked out of her in the first round."
Show me
And
some
she
video
went-
of it. Show me some video of her getting pounded.
It's going to be hard to find video.
Okay.
I'd have to. I don't know. It's UFC, so they have to.
the
It's like
rights and
WWE
all
the
that.
rights and stuff. But I can find it. But anyway, she held her own for the first couple rounds. She
did she?
did. She
Didn't
I
feel
mean,
that way.
the first few people were like, "Oh God, she's going to get destroyed," but she stood up against her and did fairly well.
yeah. I mean, but my thing
Until
is,
she didn't.
within about 20 seconds, it was clear to me that she should tap. Just say, I'm done. This was a bad idea. She
That's
didn't.
right.
What was the next round or next match?
Next round after that was Greg just went off, but it was
I thought you might be able to remember. Sorry.
Damian Maya versus Tyron Woodley, I believe was the next one, and that was the one that went 5 rounds and was there. You go.
Kevin's showing
Jesus
us
Christ.
highlights of this mugging.
I mean, look at her. Look at how scared she looks. She's just like, look, stop, just please.
But she's, I mean, her
Oh,
bells were on
no,
here.
yeah, well, yeah.
It's,
Oh, ate that one.
but I mean, again, the guts it takes to step in with someone. That's
Oh yeah,
10
no one's taking
pounds-
away from
10
how
pounds bigger than you. and
She
she's
could
taking
beat
on
the
short
shit out
notice.
of me, this Tanya
She would
woman.
beat the crap out of all of us.
So the next fight was Tyron
you.
Woodley and
You're too nice.
and Damian Maya. And Tyron Woodley has been champ for a while. He's one of those guys that's very much like Floyd Mayweather, very strategic, puts on very boring fights and wins. And he won. He beat Damian Maya with a unanimous decision. And Damian Maya, it was a boring fight. It was 5 rounds.
That's
of,
what's
of
going to happen
fucking
with
boring
Conor
fight.
McGregor.
Probably.
It's going to be
Dude.
boring as hell. He's gonna just outbox
Unless
him.
Conor fucking knocks his block off.
I don't
It's
think
not
he'll
gonna
even.
happen.
But I don't think Floyd will even let him touch. It's going to be. Anyway, I just think it's going to be super defensive.
So I think you're right. A lot of people would agree with you.
It's going to be a big letdown.
Unless you're Conor McGregor, in which case he thinks he's going to knock him out in the 4th round. That's what Conor said.
Conor reckons.
Conor said, "I'm going to knock him out in the 4th round."
His
I
bet.
did the
His.
worst.
That's pretty
I'm going to
good.
knock him out in the 4th
Who the
round.
fuck is this guy? I can't do it either.
I fucking love it. Who the fuck is
Yasmin's
this
got
guy?
Irish accent. Do it.
No, that doesn't
Oh,
count.
racist. Sorry.
Super racist. I'm sorry.
He's Irish though.
Top of the morning to you. What do you want?
Oh, my shillelagh.
No, he talks. I mean, God bless Conor. Conor's one of those guys that is just so good at the promotion game.
Oh, he's fantastic.
Like, he's a guy that you love to hate. He's a guy that gets in the head of his opponent, and he sells fucking tickets, man. He sells pay-per-views. He has said such crazy shit to fucking Floyd Mayweather.
Didn't he wear a jersey?
He wore a suit that was pinstripes.
No. He wore a Golden State jersey.
Did he?
And it had a player's number. And I don't know if this is true, but apparently the player who he was wearing slept with Floyd Mayweather's wife.
Oh.
And he's bowling around in the guy's fucking jersey.
Dude, he wore a suit.
Psychological warfare.
He wore a suit to one of the press conferences that everyone thought was a pinstripe suit, and then someone zoomed in on it. And in the pinstripe, it wasn't a fine line. It was just the tiny words "fuck you," and it just was all over this "fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck." Then he starts talking shit about Floyd Mayweather. And he's like, "I'm gonna kick your little tiny." He's like, "I don't care about you with your tiny head and your tiny hands and your tiny little body." He was like,
that.
"What does that mean?" Like he's not like it's so
I love
fucked
it.
up, but he gets in your head.
But see, that's my thing is so much of this. I mean, we talk about wrestling. It's like I feel like so much of this is fake as hell. When I see them go up against each other in
is fake. It is
the
fake.
interviews and
It's
stuff,
fake in that you know-
this is all set up. There's so much money being put into this, and it bothers me that they're not admitting it.
There is to a degree. There's no love lost between some fighters. Some fighters legitimately don't like each other. Like I don't disagree with the fact that I don't think John Jones and Daniel Cormier get along all that well. But having said that, it's the same every time. A lot of shit's talked because you gotta have the rivalry, and then afterward, what did John Jones do? He was literally like, Daniel Cormier is awesome. I aspire to be more like this guy. This guy's a real champion. I'm still fighting my demons, which is how he really feels.
Did Muhammad Ali pioneer that style of promotion? You know, the build-up where he chased after Frazier and Foreman, because Joe Frazier and him did not like each other. That was not a publicity stunt.
Well, supposedly he would like call his house at night and like fuck with him. Like he would just call
Joe
him,
Frazier
I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna beat you. He's like, stop calling my fucking house.
Well, in a more sinister way, Joe Frazier felt bullied and hated the way that the Muhammad Ali had turned the community against him and felt like his kids were being picked. Like that was a real fucking like Muhammad Ali went for him. And in some ways, I guess from like the Thriller in Manila and the Rumble in the Jungle, is that right?
Right, you know.
Like, is that what everyone's trying to emulate now? That kind of rivalry,
it
that
is.
kind
That's
of
what gets you the
show?
attention.
But the problem is
that
not a lot of
spectacle.
fighters can do it, right? And
No.
like Connor is the best at it by far. John Jones, Daniel Cormier, they had a good back and forth. It was a good try, but like you see Connor, and then you see Connor versus Nate Diaz, and that was the big that's the big rivalry right now he has. And Nate Diaz is like he's one of those guys that like doesn't give a fuck. And that's when they started throwing shit at each other, and he started
I saw that
talking
when I saw him.
mad shit, and they started getting fined. And it
But
was
even
like
in the video for Cormier versus Jones, like the way that they got in each other's face and started like punching each other and they
do
get
that
pulled
shit.
apart. It's like, I don't know, man.
And
Like,
there's some
where's the
shit
line?
said that like where Jones was like, you're not a real champion, and and he was like, it's fucked up, but it's true because he's like, you're not the real champ. You got my belt. You never beat me for that belt. And when I beat you, you're gonna spend the rest of your life thinking about that. You're gonna spend the rest of your life fucking knowing that you couldn't beat me. And it happened, and that's just going to be the
So
case.
we're getting ahead of ourselves. Going back to the fight
Yeah.
you were talking about, that was the
Tyron
most-
Woodley, Damian Maya.
Yeah,
Now,
so-
Damian Maya is an excellent jiu-jitsu practitioner and was constantly trying to get him to the ground.
And
it
that's
did
what's
not
interesting
work.
is when this match was first being introduced and they set it up
Yeah.
and these two dudes came out for the first time in the night, I was like, I am enthralled by this.
Mm-hmm.
This is awesome. They set up the story perfectly where one of the dudes, Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy, if he gets you to the floor, you're fucking done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he finishes
This other
a lot.
guy,
He usually finishes by submission.
if he gets you in a good fucking flurry, you're fucking done.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, this is straight up Street Fighter. This is straight up, this guy has these pros and cons, this guy has these pros and cons.
That's what it's based on.
Let's go. I can understand this story just based on watching them fight, right? Then it starts, and first off, Tyron Woodley. Kevin, can you look up Tyron Woodley to show these people what
This man is, you
God
talking about
looks
action
like?
figures?
He
This
is
man
an
is
action
a
figure.
superhero.
Like
Wait,
his
and this
muscles.
is the guy who's ground. Who's
No,
no, he's the Florida
Damian
guy.
Maya has more of the traditional jiu-jitsu body where he's like a little lengthier, he's very skinny.
And
he's
the-
not this guy
Yeah.
by any chance. That's
Oh, is
Well,
he the guy from Hounslow who I called out?
No, that's Alistair Overeem.
Oh,
He's
no,
a
you
You
boss.
could
go
take
up,
this
Kev.
guy. You
to
could
the
take Tyron
left,
Woodley.
left.
Oh my
The
god,
middle one in the top row.
The green one?
Yeah,
That one.
yeah. Like, just look at his
Jeez.
arm. Like,
He
look at
legitimately looks like the Hulk.
circles, right?
He looks like someone carved him out of like plastic or steel.
So seeing them get in the ring, I was like, oh,
Now look
this
up
is
Damian
fucking
Maya.
awesome.
It's spelled M-A-I-A.
So then they start, and like, again, I don't know
scared,
any of this
right?
stuff.
You're like,
I just
fuck.
know that they told me this. So as I'm seeing them fight, within the first round, you see any time that the other dude gets him almost down, he's like, fuck this, and like runs away.
Right.
And it was like, oh man, they're serious about what they're saying. And when the same shit with him, when he would start punching the other guy would just like dip out. But then it turned into 15 minutes
Of a
It
dance.
felt like, at least.
25 minutes.
Was it really?
25 minutes.
Oh, then,
How long
dude,
that
it
fight
wasn't
was.
even
That
a
was title
dance.
fight.
They would like look at each other and like run away. And it was like watching two people play in Smash Bros. And both are Marth and they just keep trying to counter each other.
Yeah.
And it was so damn
Good. Put it in terms
boring.
our audience can understand. That's good.
So, but what's important about it is this actually broke the record for least strikes in the
Landed,
history
yeah.
of
Oh,
UFC.
wow.
Of a welterweight title fight, this broke the record for fewest I think strikes landed, or no, maybe it was few strikes thrown.
That's
Yeah.
what it was, and it's like I'm
Because
not
what happened
exaggerating. It was ridiculously
It was
boring.
so bad that Damian Maya was shooting in for the same takedown over and over again. He shot in for 21 takedowns, and all 21 of them were stuffed, pretty much with relative, well, not with ease, but stuffed. You could tell that he was like, I'm just going to train specifically to stuff these takedowns. It got so bad that at one point, the announcers were like, "Are his knees bleeding from shooting?" Because when you shoot him for a takedown, you shoot a knee first.
Yeah.
So you scoop it up and grab double leg takedowns, and he kept doing that. But Tyron Woodley at one point just took all of his fucking weight and just put it on the back of Damian Maya's neck and just pushed down and just pushed his face into the ground and then escaped over and over again to the point where his knees were bloody. And it was like, you would think that sounds exciting, but it was the most boring.
No, man.
And the crowd and you can hear it at home, the crowd starts to boo.
So the crowd slowly, like round 1, it was boo. Round 2, this is boring, and I'm like, oh yeah, let's go WWE shit. I love this. And then it was just like
Round 3, the glass broke. Stone Cold comes
Oh my
out.
god, it felt like it. Round 3, like the crowd was not having it so much. They started doing the wave, and it was like it went around the auditorium, the arena, went around again, and then just started getting like where they would chant boring with the wave. So everyone would jump up and go boring, and it was just like go, and it didn't stop. It just kept fucking going. And like, I have videos, Kevin. I'm gonna send you one of these. But like, they would just be yelling at him. They started putting up all their lights, their phone lights, and everyone just fucking making a scene. They're screaming boring.
Dana White
It was
came
a
out,
bad
threw
fight.
chairs into
It was a
them.
bad fight, but the problem is that's how you win fights, and that's how you stay on top, right? You
Yeah.
don't win fights by getting in there and letting someone smash your face in until you knock them out. That's a bad way. You win fights, but the same way George St. Pierre won fights, which is you look at your team looks at the opponent and goes, what is he strong at? Okay, Damian Maia is really good at takedowns or really good at submissions from the ground. Okay, so if we neutralize that. If I just don't get taken down, do I have a better chance of winning? Cool. So that's what what you train for.
And that's why it was most interesting to me because they set that up, and then once it started, I was like, "This is so interesting that they're really sticking to that." And it's obvious that they trained against this and are ready and prepared. But I'm like, that's where the WWE fakeness comes in, where I'm like, they would have told that story in a way that wasn't boring as all shit. Hopefully.
But see, the problem is like the other problem is like that was an interesting stylistic match. The other stylistic match that I thought was better was Robbie Lawler versus Donald Cerrone, which is one you thought was boring as well. To me, that was two fighters that were standing up and just wanted to fucking kick the shit out of each other, and that's what they did.
I didn't think that one was boring.
Okay.
My problem with that was that I thought it was bullshit that the guy won one.
Oh, I see. Okay,
Like, it was so
that to
clear
me was
the
fight
other
of the night
dude
because
won.
that's a matchup of two really good strikers, and let's see what happens. Like put two strikers in the row and see what happens. That's what I like the UFC though. Like is if Tyron Woodley had been a little bit more aggressive, that fight could have been really dynamic. But what happened was after that first round, he realized he won the round with very few strikes, and his corner was like, keep
Just
doing
wait
it,
it
man.
out. Just
Got
wait
four
it
more-
out.
Just if you do that 4 more times, you win this fight,
Yeah.
and you walk away unscathed, and you can probably fight again tomorrow if you wanted to.
Yep,
Not
and
that
that is
Nevada
exactly
State
what
Athletic
happened.
Commission would allow
And
that
it was
to.
so clear to everyone.
that's what happened.
So then when he won and he was like holding up the belt,
Everyone's like, what
it
the
was
fuck,
just
dude?
you couldn't even hear him talk. Like when Joe Rogan came up and was interviewing him, all you heard was boo.
it was bad.
Like goddamn,
Savage.
Yeah.
it was savage.
So what about the main event? Did
Then
that
the main
deliver?
event was so interesting. Like I was
Were you
completely at the
nervous
edge
when,
of my
when,
seat.
they started fighting? Because I was fucking nervous.
Oh, no.
For Daniel Cormier.
Really?
Yeah, I was actually
Why?
more nervous for John. Excuse me, not Daniel Cormier. Because it's an interesting dynamic. Daniel Cormier is a stand-up guy. He's the champion that if you write a champion into a movie, he's the guy you write, right? Like good,
he, though?
he is. He's a good guy, family guy. Never talks doesn't like talking shit about his opponents. You can tell they're making him do this stuff. Like he's held the belt, he's defended the belt, he's had a lot of good fights, right? He fought Anderson Silva recently when John was supposed to fight him, but John got popped for steroids. Anderson Silva came in, they had a great fight, but he didn't overwhelm him. He showed a lot of respect to his opponent and showed a lot of respect to the sport. Then you've got John Jones, who is just this phenomenally talented human being that won the youngest ever light heavyweight title to a winner to win the title. Just did shit. He's like the kind of guy that watched a YouTube video about Bruce Lee and then can all of a sudden fucking do a spinning back kick and do it and really do it and actually knock someone out with it. So you look at him and you're like, this is a guy that is probably pound for pound one of the best fighters ever to live. And then he does something where he's high and crashes his Bentley into a woman who's pregnant, a pregnant woman is driving it. And then he goes, oh, I don't want to be here, and runs away from it. And you're like, oh, John, you can't do that. So Cormier is the champion that we want. or that we deserve and need, but John's the one we want, right? John we want to win because we want to see that guy who's the best ever. Like we want to be able to, like, I watched John Jones fight. He's the greatest ever. He's never been beaten. Well, he has been beaten, but like all intents and purposes, he's unbeatable. And then these two come together, and you're torn emotionally because you've got Daniel Cormier as the nice guy, and you want to believe nice guys win, but you secretly just want to watch John fuck him up, and you don't know why. And so when those two came together, I was like, oh my God, I almost wanted to like bow to each other and walk away. I don't even want to see them fight. Like this
There is
fucked
no
up.
champion. Good night.
That's so
good
funny
night.
because I from not knowing any of it and just watching it, like fuck Daniel Cormier. He was an asshole the whole time. So they're fighting. They're having a great fight, and it was really even. At some point, it started looking like Daniel Cormier who's Nick's good guy, was decidedly winning. And then he started getting really cocky, and like you'd see it where the other guy would punch him in the face, and he'd look at him and like go like that, and he'd punch him again, and he'd be like, and he just kept doing that, and it was like, all right, this is kind of awesome. But it was such heel shit, like it was such, he's the bad guy right now. And then eventually he got way too cocky with it. The other guy takes him down. One of the most brutal things I've ever seen anyone do to another human being in my life.
What was
And,
it?
dude? Fucking kicks him. The guy, like, you could see it. He had a moment of like, oh shit, he was outconscious. And the other guy was like, I'm taking advantage of this. Fucking went in and just started knocking him into the fucking fence.
Yeah.
He fell down. And then he just like was trampling the dude's head in
Yeah,
with
he
his
basically
hands.
like was hammer fisting his head.
Why
And
didn't
so-
the ref stop it?
Well, that's that, and a lot of people were like, he should have stopped it a little earlier. Than
Yeah.
that. The thing is, on a fight that important, you don't want to have there be any doubt that the guy could have defended himself. So if had Daniel Cormier being able to, like, it's weird to say, but it's actually kind of for Daniel because the ruling is if you can't defend yourself, if the ref thinks at any time you can't put up an adequate defense, he stops the fight, right? That's how it goes, and it's a technical knockout right there. But there have been times when people have been in worse spots than that, where they regain their senses and boom, they clinch up, and they just need a couple seconds and they get back to their feet and they're ready to rock and roll. Yeah. And so it's one of those weird, like, I think he should have stopped it about 3 seconds before he did, but I'm also not a judge or a ref.
I'd have liked 3 seconds
UFC.
too late.
What's it? Yeah, I think
I prefer getting my money's worth.
I mean, that's the thing.
Stop at
right?
3 minutes too late.
I don't know, but that's a perfect example of John, right? Like the first two rounds, really getting a sense of like the range, getting a sense of where his kicks were landing, and then what did he do? He was kicking the leg, head kick, kicking the leg, fakes a kick to the leg. Daniel Cormier goes to block it. Fucking head kick that rings his bell harder than anyone's bell I've seen in a long
was
time.
insane.
Then he did something very interesting, right? Because most fighters would go, he's wrong, and they freak out and they start just like bombing punches. John didn't do that. John went like he did a little footwork first to see if he was really wrong, right?
Well, that footwork tripped the other dude up.
He didn't trip him. He did footwork, realized he was stunned, faked the punch, and then kicked his fucking heel as hard as possible. It spun him around, and then he followed up with a fucking flying knee to the chest that like put him right against the cage, down, and then just hammer
It
fist.
sounds really cool when he
until-
describes it.
That moment
It was
was fucking
fucking
awesome, and it was earned.
insane.
That fight
Yeah,
totally
yeah.
earned
Oh,
it.
it was
But
so
then after the
insane.
fight, they're announcing the winner and doing the whole thing, and then the fucking Daniel Cormier, the loser, like is trying to get up, and like, he's still trying to fight the guy. Which that was the thing is like I think
got
that
knocked out.
he was so knocked out that
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Oh,
he didn't even
know that it was
understand that it was
done. He
over.
didn't know
Like he didn't
Yeah,
know it was
yeah,
over.
yeah.
He was still trying to fucking fight him, even though there was like 10 people holding him back. And I was like, all right, cool, that's aggressive. And then he goes like they're about to announce the winner, like, hey, come over here and do the thing, and he like shoves the ref's hand away and walks off. And I was like,
it was very emotional for one. Because you have to understand this has been like a 2-year build up to this fight, and he should have fought him a long time ago, and John just kept pulling out for different reasons, like he kept getting disqualified or suspended or popped for steroids. So there's a lot of emotion built into this.
Yeah. Good
One,
guys don't do
two,
that though. Champions don't do
not,
that.
Champions.
Yes, sure, but two, they should not, when a guy's knocked out that badly, put him on camera.
Oh my
shouldn't
god,
do
it was horrible. And so
now,
then
now
after-
the shit thing is a fucking meme, and that pisses me off
Yeah,
because he
no,
shouldn't
absolutely.
be. This should not like. And Rogan didn't want to do it. You can tell.
Oh,
Joe
did
was
he
like,
not wanna do it?
no, because he said specifically on his podcast.
Wait,
he's
I
like,
don't understand. What is I didn't see this. I don't know what you're talking
John
about.
Jones, they interview the person who won generally.
Yeah.
But if the person gets knocked out, as a general rule, and Rogan's talked about this a lot on his podcast, he does not like interviewing the guy that just got knocked out because you just got knocked out.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
not all there. You don't know what's going. He's like more often than not, people think they're still fighting. They don't know what the fuck's going on.
They shit
Yeah.
their pants.
Yeah, they just lost. They do. They literally do.
Do they really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Your body does that sometimes. And so
Jesus.
he was like, he even said it when he started interviewing Daniel Cormier. He's like, I really don't
did it
like
during
doing
topic
this,
one.
but I want to give you an opportunity to like talk about this. And
He's
you
like,
can tell Cormier.
No, dude, really?
Really?
Yeah, it
No,
was
seriously.
bad.
He was like, he was so knocked out. He was talking, and he just started
He started crying.
bawling
It
in
was
tears,
bad.
and it was like really, really fucking bad. But
bad.
it's like I don't know. I don't buy that at all. That's some Joe Rogan showmanship shit because he fucking went in there so
No,
quick.
he's gotten in trouble before about that. Like he's actually stated a lot because I think it was I forget who it was, but he interviewed someone and the guy was like, "No, I totally won that fight. The guy tapped. I swear to God." And Joe's like, "I don't think he did, man." The guy's like, "No, he fucking tapped. I know he tapped." And he goes, "Okay, let's bring up the footage." And in front of everyone, like basically humiliated the guy because the guy, I forget
Yeah.
which fighter it was, but he
I was
wasn't
there for that one. I was there
you
for
were
that. Yeah.
And he just was. He doesn't fucking know. Like when you get knocked out, you might lose the last like 5 minutes of your life. You don't know what happened. And so, and now as a general rule, they won't do it if the person gets knocked out. Like they'll just interview the person who wins. But this was such a big fight that I think they probably made him.
Yeah.
he hasn't
I
talked
don't
about it yet. I haven't listened to his
So would you
podcast
go
yet.
again?
No, God no. But shout out to Joe Rogan though. Like the through line that the show needed, him doing the post round or post match, whatever the fuck
match.
interviews was like super helpful, and I thought really moved things along. And I love that he just is Joe Rogan. He is such his own character. Where even during the boring match, I thought he was going to be like a professional about it and like act like, oh, you guys were just beasts in the ring or whatever. He's like, hey, so everyone's booing you. How's that feel? And I'm like,
Yeah. No, I mean
Get him.
Joe's also at a point where I think he's almost done. Like he's talked a lot about maybe retiring from that, and he's pulled out a lot from a lot of the events. Like he used to do all the worldwide events, and he doesn't do those anymore. And I think they're training Dominic Cruz to come up and help. Or maybe not Dominic Cruz, but I forget the other guy. They're losing announcers basically, but I think he's at the tail end of his career as an announcer for UFC. He's also a comedian that talks about crazy shit. So every once in a while he'll slide something in there. Like he got in trouble the first time he ever did it for like talking about one of the chokes in a really bad way. I don't want to go into that, but yeah, shout out to Joe Rogan.
Nick,
Yes.
what's your topic?
Ooh, my topic's a fun one.
God,
We
we're
had a
still
great.
going?
Yeah, we got.
shit.
Where would you want to
Do you
break
need to
that?
take
You know
off?
what I mean?
I don't know. I need to go.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay.
We can bring in Big Kev Dog in your place because he's seen all these movies.
Let's do that.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah,
I prepped a
sure.
sheet for him. So and this will go fast. We can make this.
It's good to see it, boss. Yeah, no worries.
I want to rank the Quentin Tarantino movies.
Well, before you go, I drew a picture. It's all four of us with our dicks out.
What?
How come my
Oh, Dick's
And I
alright,
gave
alright.
Tim the biggest dick.
Oh, okay.
Oh shit.
Who's the
And
one in
I
the middle?
gave-
Oh, you gave yourself.
I gave
a-
myself the
Oh.
smallest, but it's slightly thicker.
Oh, the girth.
I gave Greg got the biggest bell end, big helmet.
Yeah, no, yeah,
And
no,
I
no.
gave Nick the most like symmetrical.
Thank you.
Pretty
It's like
dick.
It's very
Perfect.
nice. It's very nice.
Does
Thank
Tim
you.
have an uncut dick? Is that just a big uncut dick that Tim has?
I didn't want to assume.
Can Cool Greg Skycam? Huh? Can Cool Greg Skycam or is that out?
Cool, Greg.
You want Skycam? What do you want?
Yeah, let's put in the go Skycam.
There you go. There's the dicks we're all
You can
talking
see
about.
them.
It's Nick. It's me. It's Rahul. It's Tim.
It's beautiful.
Very nice.
Yeah,
That's very
good.
nice.
Well, good
And
dicks
every
there.
dick had a personality.
I like that.
It
I like
does.
that a lot.
My
Thank you.
my dick's got like a straight edge. Like, hey, I'm gonna shoot you straight.
All right, Quentin Tarantino.
So yeah, we had a great time talking about the Marvel movies and ranking all those. So I thought it'd be fun if we went down to now.
I was
I
right.
noticed on this, I was looking it up earlier. I think Sin City's on this list as a movie that he's credited as a director, but I don't think
I think
about
he
that.
only did
I think he did a little bit of
So
it.
wait,
we're gonna take
one
that
of
off.
the.
And he only did one of Grindhouse.
He did, but that was billed as
But
something
that was
that he
more-
wrote and directed. So I don't know. Do we want to leave that on the list?
The Grindhouse was a double feature, right?
Yeah,
so
that
those
was
were two separate
Rodriguez,
movies.
yeah.
But Sin City, I don't think it was actually.
No, he only did
yeah.
one scene, and it was the scene when Benicio del Toro
We're in
had the gun barrel in his head.
Oh.
Robert
So,
Rodriguez did
we're
everything
gonna
else.
take that off the list. Let's take that
Alright.
off the list.
Yeah.
So we have 10 films.
There are 10 films total. We are.
You could
these are
replace that
only
with
films-
True Romance if you wanted
Well,
to.
I was going to say these are only films that he wrote and directed.
Okay.
Because if not, he wrote on True Romance and a few other things. But I love True Romance, but we'll leave that off the list right now. So the films right now that we have are Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Four Rooms, which is another iffy one because
never
it's
seen
like
it.
I've never
Yeah,
even
I'm not
heard of it.
familiar
Yeah.
with
well,
Four
Four Rooms
Rooms.
is another one of those movies where it's kind of it's smaller stories wrapped into one movie, but I think he did only one of the stories.
Yeah.
And I think they bought in a bunch of guest directors to do them. So I can't. Maybe we should take
I
that
say
off
we
the list.
take
lose
Let's
it?
take that off the list.
No, I
leaving.
say take it off.
Let's take that off. So right now we have Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown, Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2, and yes, they are two separate films. I don't care what anyone says. Grindhouse, I think we should probably keep on. Inglourious Bastards, Django Unchained, and The Hateful Eight. Now, I could be dissuaded to take off Grindhouse.
I haven't seen Grindhouse.
It's going to go bottom on your list then.
Yeah, well, so on here, there's two that I haven't seen: Grindhouse and Jackie Brown.
Well, if you write Grind, you should make it Death Proof then, because that was a film.
All right, let's go
Grindhouse.
Death Proof. Let's
So just
cross
call
that
it
out and
Death
put
Proof.
Death
Got
Proof.
it. Death Proof.
All right.
Jackie Brown was, I think, on this list, one of the only movies that was not an original work by Quentin Tarantino, but it still is written and directed by him. It was an Elmore Leonard movie or novel, so that still counts though.
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna go.
Yeah, you don't. Are you all
okay.
set?
We're just numbering this.
Yeah, just gonna number and we'll talk about. We'll go through your list and you can explain to us why. You can put the right number there.
Well, I'm building it off this.
Oh, I
I
see
don't.
what
I
you're saying.
can't jump
I see
in
what
there
you're
and start going. You know what I mean? I'm coming in.
I'm going to go
bottom.
straight off instinct.
You're crazy.
So there's 9 total, right? Is that correct?
Yes, I believe so. 1, 2,
Okay.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, I have 8. Yeah,
Oh, this is tricky.
we're doing 9 because we're counting Death Proof as one of them. Ryan Hartman is asking if he wrote Jackie Brown. I think he did. I looked it up earlier, but I'm going to go ahead and check that. It's based on an Elmore Leonard novel.
You okay, Kevin?
Yeah, I mean, this is tricky. This is hard.
Nah, it's piss easy. I've done it. Finished.
You win. You win the brownie.
What?
He won the brownie. Oh my God.
Yeah,
This-
he's credited as a writer.
Then
for
I
that,
look
so.
at this and it's like, this doesn't make any sense.
What have you done? Why have you written,
What have you done,
why have you
Kevin?
written the numbers on the other side?
Oh, that was just so if we're like, oh, I don't know. It just helps me. space
I'm
it
not.
out.
I'm not. I don't mean to
You've met
pry.
Kevin now.
Those were just the numbers, total 9 movies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
That's an easy one there, man. Oh, this is hard.
So
And yes, fill time. Fill time. You're doing great. You're doing great.
I don't know what you're mouthing to me.
I'm done.
You don't know my order. If you know my order right now, Greg Miller will marry us live.
Yeah, boy. He's an ordained minister. Be careful. He can do it. Or maybe he didn't do it yet. Did you do it yet?
What?
Are you ordained yet?
Yeah, I married Scott and Cindy.
Yeah, boy. Let's get married.
What, you and me? What did I just high five? What's his order?
Andy, do you want to get on this?
Well, you can.
What's his number 1?
Read that.
Yeah,
and
okay.
then say
Oh,
what
yeah, that's
my
really good.
number one
Here,
is.
Andy, you
go.
wanna do
You
this?
write it in.
Oh, I see. Okay.
You write it
I like
in
this.
right
I like
there.
this better.
First
I like
time
this.
Yazzie, scratch off Hateful Eight because I haven't seen it, so just put NA on that.
Oh, you haven't seen Hateful Eight?
It's a
I haven't
really
got
good
around
one.
to it.
But I'll
I
save
will-
it for
I
where it
want
ends
to-
up
I
on my
want to.
list. You know what I'm saying here? We'll save it for where it ends up on my list.
And scratch 4 rooms off. And
And
scratch
change
off.
Grindhouse to Death Proof. If that matters.
Yeah.
Certainly does.
And something else has been.
Come here. No, come here and talk on the microphone. You can't. Nobody hears what you're saying. Talking a bit. Talking. Get in here,
Little
dog.
topic we're
Do you
doing.
want me to do like my quick, my quick?
Well, I can. You want me to? I'll print one of these out. You do it.
Nah, I'm good.
You want to put your numbers right here and completely fuck up my list?
I can just
All right, give it to
rattle
me.
it off.
Give it to me. Go ahead.
Top of the list, Pulp Fiction.
Right, naturally.
Number 2, I'm gonna go with Reservoir Dogs.
Oh,
boy.
interesting.
Number 3, I'm going to go with Django Unchained.
How dare you?
I have not seen Jackie Brown, and I have not seen The Hateful Eight.
It's going to be low on your list.
You haven't seen the Hateful Eight?
I haven't seen The Hateful Eight. No.
Interesting.
So 4 is going to be Kill Bill Volume 1. 5 is going to be Inglourious Basterds. 6 will be Kill Bill Volume 2.
Oh, what?
And yeah, that's my quick list.
Can you
Okay.
bring me some of that gum?
Okay.
You want some?
Yeah, can I have
No,
some?
you can't share.
Put
on.
some twang on the gum and give him the gum.
Don't put any fucking twang on the
Okay.
gum. I just want the gum. My breath
Thanks,
smells
Andy.
like cat shit right now.
Catch it.
Catch it.
How are we doing
All
over
right.
there? Yes.
I can't remember which was the better Kill Bill.
Well, see, you're all set. You are all set to do
Very
it.
much one. Very much one.
I don't know about very much one, but
100%
yeah,
one.
one.
One by a wide margin.
No.
I've
Should've
never
been
wanted
one
her to be more wrong in all her life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you fucked up.
I know. I just
because
realized
we'll do
this.
this.
You can...
We have Kevin's got a guy at City Hall. We can get you the paperwork
I got a
right
guy
now.
at
Oh,
City
no,
Hall.
wait, no. We need a Hindu wedding anyway. It's done.
No, we got a Hindu guy.
Nah, well, I'm an atheist, so it doesn't matter anyway.
That was very smart. Kev, how are we doing with that gum? What's up? What's going on with
You
the
said
gum?
you looked at Andy and
name's
yelled
Andy.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Fucked up.
How's
Andy,
it-
can I have some of that gum, please?
All right. So do you want to start in, Nick? Where do you want
don't
to?
you
It's
have
your
your
topic. Where do you want to kick
thing?
off? You want to save yours for last?
Sure. No, I'll kick mine off. As soon as Andy gets some fucking gum. My
You
number
can't
one.
chew gum while you're podcasting. It's not
my
okay.
it's fine. It's gonna be
Right?
okay.
No,
It's
you
gonna be
can.
okay.
No.
You can. My number one is Pulp Fiction. of course. It's my all-time favorite Quentin Tarantino movie. Number 2 was a split between Reservoir Dogs and Kill Bill Volume 1, but I'm going to give it to Kill Bill Volume 1 for me. While I like Reservoir Dogs and I respect that movie as a first movie of his, I was obsessed with Kill Bill Volume 1 when it came out. I had the fucking soundtrack to it. I was really much looking forward to Kill Bill Volume 2, and then it came out, and I was like, oh, not so much.
You mean Lonely Shepherd by Xanfer? Do you know that song?
I do.
Kills me. I loved it. It was my ringtone for years.
Inglourious Bastards, I'll put as 4. No, sorry, Reservoir Dogs is 3. Inglourious Bastards 4. Django is 5. Hateful Eight 6. Kill Bill Volume 2 is 7. And you know what? Now that I'm looking at that, I'm gonna switch those. Hateful Eight's gonna be 7. Kill Bill Volume 2 is gonna be 6.
7.
Way too low.
Way too
Jackie
low.
Brown
Way
is
too
8.
Upsettingly
And Death Proof is 9 because I really didn't like Grindhouse all that much. Actually, I liked Grindhouse, but I didn't like Death Proof. I liked the Rob Rodriguez one with Michael Biehn.
Planet Terror.
Yes, I thought that was a cooler Grindhouse style film. Greg, give it to me.
I'm gonna go worst to best.
Worst to best.
Number 9, Jackie Brown, a forgetful film that I know I watched but barely remember. There was an old man. He liked Jackie Brown.
Michael Keaton was in it.
He was.
That's
Oh,
right,
he
he was.
was.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
exactly. He was. Yeah, he was. Number 8, Kill Bill Volume 2. Another forgettable film with a terrible Superman analogy. Number 7, Kill Bill Volume 1. Another forgettable film that just wasn't that good.
Hey, eat this pen, sir.
Yeah, I said it. What about it? You want to argue me?
Hit bloody
Yeah, I do.
Why? What's so great about it? It was fun. It was
Kill
good.
A
Bill?
mixture of genres.
She did this thing. I remember trying to punch out of the casket.
That was
That
two.
was fun.
That's two.
Oh well,
Yeah.
there you go. There's a boring movie that ran
Well,
together
maybe
with
if
a
you
bad
paid
Superman
attention, you were
analogy.
watching it when
She
you
had
playing with
one
your
woman
fucking dog.
had like a mace she used. Buck liked to fuck. I remember the bullet points.
You
of this
really
movie.
remembered Volume 2 really well.
Yeah, you really.
Yes, I was all this from volume 2.
No, the Bug like
the
to
mace,
fuck-
that
yeah.
bar is
Okay, great.
God, that was a
Number
disturbing
6,
scene.
Death Proof. This is the Kurt Russell. He's in a car thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember more of that movie than the other ones. Number 5, Reservoir Dogs. This is where we're getting to movies like I remember and think really fondly of. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Reservoir Dogs is fun. I had a great time with it. It was, I think what probably hurts, I almost said Hindus. What hinders Reservoir Dogs.
As you touched me.
Whatever
Hindus
happens
think.
is the fact that that was one of the ones I remember in like junior high. We were all excited to watch, and it was like interesting, but not like the right reasons, right? Like it was all very above our head, I think. But then we were still making like mixtapes that had like the Steve Buscemi like Madonna speech on it and stuff like that. Like we know what the fuck we're doing. Number 4, Pulp Fiction. Similar thing, I think.
Wow.
A similar thing. I just don't think I've watched as an adult. I watched it as a you
should
'cause
rewatch it.
My top 3 then are all the more recent ones, right?
Yeah.
Where number 3 is Hateful Eight. I fucking loved Hateful Eight. Yeah,
so good.
I really enjoyed
I'm
that.
going to watch that tonight.
And Glorious Bastards at 2,
It's like 3 hours long.
and then
So good.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Django Unchained at number 1.
Number 1.
Ooh.
That'll be-
Alright.
that'll
I
probably be
love
Tim's number
Django.
one.
Django's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do we do this? Because
I
have
think
you done?
she should pass him over, and I'll be the impartial judge here to see.
Okay, hold on, because I did mine as well.
No one gives a shit about your order. You're supposed to guess my order, mate.
That's rude. That's rude.
What a way to start the
Sir.
marriage. All right. Jesus.
What is?
What's the? Oh, okay. She put R's
are
and
we
Y's.
running?
No. I gotta be the impartial judge here and see if they match up first. They are immediately wrong. It looks like. Yep.
There
There
we
you
go.
go.
All right. Well,
And then I know what should be.
Okay, so I have Pulp Fiction at number 1,
Naturally.
and
Okay.
I don't need to explain
Naturally.
myself. I think it's
goes
one of the
without
best
saying.
movies ever made,
You're a
not just
Scientologist.
Tarantino's. Number 2, I gave to Reservoir Dogs,
Okay.
especially as someone who was in theatre. I respect what he did with the space,
Very nice.
and I'd
Yeah,
like to
very
retell
nice.
that someday
that.
in a theatre production.
Okay.
Number 3, I went for Kill Bill Volume 1.
There you go. There you go.
I love the mishmash of genres. I love the Asian culture. There's a splash of anime in there, and the style, and the music soundtrack, and I saw it at a very impressionable time. Number 4, Django Unchained.
Wow.
Okay.
Loved that movie.
Too low.
And if those 3 didn't exist, it would be number 1, if that makes sense.
It does.
totally does.
Number 5, I gave to Jackie Brown.
Okay.
Really?
Again, various reasons, but I like it.
Okay.
6, Inglourious Bastards. 7, Kill Bill Volume 2. And 8, to Death Proof. And I have yet to see Hateful Eight.
I think Hateful Eight, if you responded well to Reservoir Dogs because it played out like a play for you, you're going to love Hateful
That's what
Eight.
I heard, yeah.
It's very much, I mean, it's even filmed a little bit more like that too. So you'll like it a lot. Very beautifully done film. I've only seen it once though. I have no desire to see it again. It's very fucking long.
I'm one of those weirdos. Like it flew by. It was like one of those things where I was like, "This is great. I'm
feel like
enraptured in these characters and this story and what's happening."
Hateful Eight had one problem. It was
Too short.
no.
One
we
more.
went to watch it at the ultra wide panoramic.
I didn't go with you guys, but yeah, you went
It
to
was
the
really cool,
79.
and then like midway through there was intermission.
Yeah.
But the act right before the intermission and the act right after should have been flipped. They like reveal something, and it's just like, why like that? Reveal it differently.
Gotcha.
I don't even
Yeah.
remember it.
It's the
It
trap
all
door.
happens in a forest position.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I would like to make one note about my list.
Sure. It's garbage.
That everything before Django, this is what I was trying to say. There's nostalgic reasons attached. There's about groundbreaking cinema. Also, when we saw Pulp Fiction, when I saw Reservoir Dogs, particularly Pulp Fiction, I'd never seen dialogue like that before. I'd never seen a story told that way before. And its importance to cinema also makes it number one. However, as movies, if you take away what they did, I think Django is just as well made as Pulp Fiction. So I would almost have Django with number one, but I'm not gonna because of how important Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction was.
Understandable. I respect.
But I think
The way
Django is
you explained
almost
it.
a perfect movie.
Gotcha. Big Kev dog.
So this list was surprising because I'm a huge fan of Kill Bill, Volume 1 and Volume 2. But man, looking at this list after, like there was a point where I was putting it, I was like, that doesn't seem right. And I was like, no, this is how I feel about it.
This is an honest conversation with
Yeah.
yourself.
Django Unchained, my number one.
Number one. Hell yeah.
Number one,
That's
yeah.
my boy.
Pulp Fiction, my number 2. When it's
It's not bad.
Hateful Eight is my number 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I really like Hateful Eight, but like that, the issue I have with, I can't remember what act number it was, but like how they told that part of the story was so disappointing. I won't spoil anything, but when you watch it, you'll be like, he was right.
It was Earth all
Yeah.
along.
I'm not going to spoil anything, but by telling you this, I will make you like it less. But I'm not going to spoil anything.
Okay. That's, yeah.
My number 4, The Reservoir Dogs. Also my first Tarantino movie I ever watched, and boy, fuck, there was so much tension when I was watching that movie. It stressed me out.
Sure.
Oh, dude, the scene with the ear fucking traumatized me when I was a kid.
It's a fucked up scene.
It's so fucked up.
Yeah.
Made me really want to get a straight razor though.
Oh, of course
Jesus.
it did.
Yeah.
Of course it did.
My 5 and 6,
Psycho.
Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2. And number 7, Inglourious Bastards. I do not enjoy that film.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I
what about
don't.
it?
I mean, it just, I don't
Oh, your
like...
grandpa stuff. Sorry, you walked into that one. Sorry. Colin and Greg laughs.
Oh my God. All right, well.
What? No, come on. I really want to know. It's just
Also,
a fun
Colin
one.
and Greg Lives, not the name of the show.
But that's what the joke
Got it,
said.
got
It was
it.
a
All
throwback. Throwback.
I just didn't like, I don't know. I didn't like the flow of the story overall. Like, it did the same mismatching with, like, right? It wasn't linear.
I thought it dragged. Like,
Yeah,
in
it
places.
just-
It had
really?
pacing issues
It was
for me. It was
boring
overly
to me.
long.
Yeah.
I'm gonna spoil the ending of it, but I remember like as somebody who didn't know anything about it, right?
Yeah.
Of like what I was getting into, just went and saw it, and I like Tarantino, so I go see the
Yeah.
movies or whatever. Like when it's like, oh yeah, I just can't wait to see how they're gonna fucking let Hitler get away.
I know.
Blow him away
Yeah.
and burn all the Nazis. Like this is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I know.
The ending was
Holy
great.
shit.
I thought the ending was great, but like the build up to it was just. I thought they build up characters and then would murder them violently in front of you, and it was just like, was that really necessary?
Sure.
Yeah.
But it gave us that one
That's
guy, like
Tarantino.
not Chris. Is it
Yeah.
Christopher? Not
Christoph.
Christoph, yeah.
Yeah, he was awesome. He's
So
badass.
good in it.
Yeah, he's the man. He's the man right there.
Also, if it wasn't for Inglourious Bastards, we wouldn't have got that thing where people put new subtitles under Hitler's speech
Yeah.
when he's
Yeah.
disappointed.
No, nope. That's a different movie.
No, it's not. That's Inglourious Bastards, where he
No.
finds out.
That's Downfall.
No,
where he
it's
asks
not.
everybody to leave the room and
Isn't
he
that
pounds on the
Inglourious
table. No, that's Downfall. Yeah.
I think it was before, yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
sure?
I'm
Unfortunately.
1,000%
I
positive.
don't like when Greg's right either, but it's just might be a thing.
It happens once in a while. Once in a blue moon. Yeah, go ahead. I'll wait.
What do I type?
Let's see.
I'm just gonna
Let's
search-
see what your girl
so I
got
just
wrong
search
here for you.
Hitler.
Yeah, read me Yaz's list. I want to see what Yaz's list
So
was.
what she picked.
her picks, yeah.
She hasn't seen as many movies. Her number 1's Pulp Fiction.
Natch.
Her number 2 is Django.
Okay.
Very
Her number
good.
3 is Reservoir Dogs.
Okay.
Oh, excellent.
Number 4 is Kill Bill Volume 1. Number 5 is Sin City.
You put Sin City in there.
And
You're
that's
supposed
it.
to
I
cross
I
that off.
fucked that up, but it was since
How did you see Kill Bill Volume 1 but not Volume 2?
He shows me all films.
Oh,
You haven't
should
seen
probably
Volume
show
2?
her the continuation of
You
that
should
movie.
watch it. It's not as bad as everyone here
No,
is
it's not a
saying.
bad movie. It's just not Volume 1.
Are you ready to admit
Volume 1
defeat
was
yet?
Which one is the
Amazing.
one that has the like where it
Volume
goes
one,
into a
probably.
cartoon?
Volume 1.
Is it Volume 1?
Yeah.
Oh, man, what a
Where
great.
it talks about
This
Oren
Hitler.
Ishii's
Yeah,
past.
past.
Fucking rad, man. A dope ass anime.
And then it changes the style when she's an adult.
This is the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is.
That is Downfall.
That's not Inglourious Basterds.
Correct. Yeah.
Now Hitler looks alike,
And this
all
one
the
is the
movies.
same
Yeah,
one.
Hitler does look a lot like Hitler in every Hitler
I
story.
always thought I saw that in. That's so weird. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Suck it. Now you gotta get married.
What is Downfall?
That wasn't the.
That was I don't know. I want to say an HBO movie or something like that. Maybe
Not
it was
ringing any
a
bells
full
for me.
feature. I don't remember. But now it's just known for the 7-minute meme where they take it, whatever people are frustrated.
Star
or
Wars
angry about
Blu-ray
stuff.
changes.
Sure.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And they
Right,
write a
right.
dialogue on it.
Yeah. If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Game Over Greggy Show. Each and every week, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather around this table, each bring a random topic of discussion for your amusement. If you like that, head over to patreon.com/kindafunny, where you can get every episode early. How early, you ask? You could be watching it live right now for just $1. If you got no bucks to toss away, it's no big deal. Head over to youtube.com/kindafunny, where we put up the show topic by topic, day by day, until it goes up as one big MP3 and video the following Friday. Rahul, we love you so much.
I love you, Greg. I love
Stop
you,
hanging
Nick.
out with
I love you,
Funhouse as
Kevin.
much. You know what I mean?
Move to LA.
No, you moved
I
to
tried
San
to get them to
Francisco.
move. I tried to get them to move.
You don't want sun
we have
and-
wives.
No, that's
Kevin,
definitely not
I'm
going to
totally
sell me
down.
on it. No, that's
Tim
good.
definitely doesn't.
Too
Let's
late
get him.
now.
Tim,
It's too
yeah,
late
you already
now.
saw that.
We got
What do you mean?
plenty of time.
This lease will be up one day.
In a
Yeah, let's
year.
make it happen.
Literally less than a year.
Literally less than a
Yeah.
year. We'll be done.
Yeah.
We can get Andy moved here from Austin. We can get him to
Andy
move
doesn't
down
give a
south.
fuck.
Yeah, Andy doesn't give a fuck.
Andy's
We got to
ride
talk
or
about
die.
his.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
No, a pleasure.
It's always a pleasure, and I'll see you in a couple of years.
All right, cool. God, I fucking hate you.
T-
When's
say that
iZombie
at the
come
Funhouse
back?
games.
We don't know. Sometime next year, we start filming. Next
Just watch the CW. It'll be there. Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Netflix
year, we
and-
should. Nick and I should really come up because we talked about that last time
Yeah.
you were on the show and we never did it.
to Vancouver.
Yeah. Just party.
Absolutely.
You know, just party now.
We'll do it.
Fucking
We're
love to.
gonna
I love Vancouver.
We'll do it hip hop style.
Oh,
We're gonna do
yeah.
it obnoxious. We're gonna get massive bottles
Yeah.
come to our table service.
Or
Shoot someone.
just a nice dinner. That would be
Oh.
great too.
Poutine.
Like, yeah, we get some poutine. That's great. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
good
I'm in.
poutine.
Yeah.
Do it, man.
I'm here.
Kevin, you gotta
if
stay here.
want-
You gotta stay here and man
yeah,
the house. It's
You
just
guys
like-
need help. Who's gonna carry all the champagne?
I don't want this to be
You
like. I
know
don't want
the
this to be like
waiter.
RTX. I don't want
You're
this to be
carrying
like
the champagne, Kevin.
But I'm gonna offer to carry the champagne to get there.
I don't want it to be like RTX where you're booked and you're ready to come, and then at the last second you're like, I have something else to do.
It's not what happened at
Until
all.
next time, it's
not what
been our
happened at all.
pleasure
They
to
wouldn't
serve
take
you.
me. I begged them
we
again.
don't. Well, he doesn't do anything. Click here to subscribe. Click here to watch a playlist of other episodes. Click over here to go to the Patreon for Kinda Funny, and click over there to go to Kinda Funny Games. All sorts of stuff to click on. Click on this. You'll go to Pound Town.